Hey everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm Thatch, and this week we're diving into our reactions, thoughts, and hopes for the latest Pokemon Day announcement. So buckle up, and let's get into the episode.
And now, coming to you live from atop the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's the one, the only, PokeOpinion.
It's Puckle! It's Puckle! Pokemon Underground Champions League, oh yeah! Puckle!
Welcome to another episode of the PokeOpinion. I am your host, Trainer Thatch, here today with my excellent co-host. We've got the one and only Sharkfinnagen.
It's happening.
Oh my gosh. And we've got Lord Jushiro, or just Jushiro.
Choo choo! All aboard the hype train.
Yeah, actually, it's exciting. We're going. Welcome to the PokeOpinion. Puckle, of course, standing for the Pokemon Underground Champions League, a nonsensical name we came up with in 2007, where we talk everything Pokemon, from the trading card game to the video game to everything in between. And of course, we are the longest running Pokemon podcast. We've been on the air for 17 years or something like that now. 17 is a long time. No, it's not 18 yet. It's not 18 yet.
I said 18.
We said, yeah, it's almost 18. It's almost old. I mean, Puckle's old enough to drive.
He's missing the joke from last week. It's fine.
I am probably missing the joke from last week. There's too many jokes. But yeah,
jokes.
welcome to the show. I mean, it was an excellent week. We did a lot. We did a lot of things.
For a Pokemon fan, exclusively for Pokemon fans, yes, it was an amazing week.
It was an amazing week for Pokemon fans, absolutely, including myself. But yes, I don't know. Did you guys do anything Pokemon related this week?
I got back to the Pocket and I re-downloaded.
Oh man!
After that direct, I re-downloaded Legends Arceus, and going to plan to finish it now before CA comes out. So it did motivate me to get back on it.
That's I mean, ZA or Pokemon Legends Arceus, definitely the way to go. I think it's a great game. So and a great way to do it. So I definitely always recommend that game to like anybody. Like honestly, if anybody's coming back to the franchise in general, I always recommend Legends Arceus.
Yeah. Where you could just basically like playing it for the badge bonanza, basically 100%ing the game. Yeah, no, it's worth it. It's still 100% worth it. It's still so much fun. I've
always been like really off with Dexit, and I still am. I still think Dexit's not fun. But some of the good things it's done is I think it's increased the longevity and the replayability of Pokemon games, if that makes sense. Yes. I think it has done that. It has made Pokemon games more quote unquote evergreen. Like there's still value in going back and
in all of the game. Then I don't know. I mean, this is to me. This is better.
I do like it, especially now. We'll talk about it in the topic more, but like with like champions and stuff like that, it is definitely rounding itself out to be what like the series needs to be long term. There's just like the Dexit Band-Aid was just like I wish they would have laid this out.
It was a long time. We'll talk
I
about
wish they would have laid this out in
stuff
2019. In 2019, if I could have had this roadmap, I would have felt a lot better. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. But now after what happened this Thursday, the roadmap is clear. I think everything, where we're going is going to solve what we hoped would have been here sooner than later. But you know what? It's here now, and we'll take it.
Yep.
Dexit is fine now that we have everything here, including but not limited to.
I don't want to call that. I don't want to say Dexit is fine yet. I don't want to say it's fine yet. But I will certainly say we are moving in the correct direction. Yes. I don't know that I would say we're 100% solved, and that's for a number of reasons. But I I do think, yeah, we'll talk about it later. I don't want to just jump into conversation about like, well, it's the topic, obviously. And I mean, this is where somebody on YouTube clicks the timestamp and just skips to that.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah,
I saw the analytics. I know what they're clicking. I know where people are going. Okay. I saw the analytics. There's a spike when the topic starts. Okay.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
That's where everybody goes. They go to the meat and potatoes. They're going to the meat and potatoes, okay?
For April Fools, we're going to put the intro in that stamp.
That's what we should do. Oh, man, we should. Jushiro, that's a dangerous idea, and I'm not against it.
Just switch the order of the podcast around.
Right.
Just move it around, but don't change the titles on the timestamps. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Somebody's going to be like, I only listened to the topic. Click, So certainly we'll see. Oh man, no, yeah. Other than that, I mean, I've still been playing TCG. They fixed Archaladon on TCG Live, so that's nice. That's what I've been playing mostly.
That's one thing fixed.
Archaladon is
so many other things that are still broken, like all the meta relevant decks.
I don't know. I haven't played any of them.
I think that's something I saw Seth post. It's basic, or like it feels like all the like decks that were popular in EUIC had at least one thing wrong with them.
I would believe that. I would believe that because they just break all the time. Like it just breaks all the time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. Have you guys been doing anything other than like watching things or like you guys to go do anything recently?
I've been playing a lot of Pocket and playing Go because this weekend is Unova Go Tour. And
it is Unova Go. How does that work? Maybe I should ask you the next segment, but like, at the news.
No, the short version. So it's now they're doing it where it's just free, like
perfect.
The whole event instead of. They just basically created a battle pass where you get points for basically catching Pokemon, hatching eggs, and catching legendary Pokemons, aka raids. And so you just get points there, and it gives you rewards as you complete them.
Oh, cool!
There's a paid version where you can get a little faster, but not really. It's really not much faster. It's more of you just get better rewards. So
I see.
Instead of candy, you get the XL candy or extra encounters. The big thing is really Victini. You get a Victini in there. And then this new item called a Lucky Trinket, where you could basically just get automatic Lucky Friend with someone. So, you could skip the premium pass and probably still complete it if you started like after we record here. So, it's not that hard to get, I don't think. Because I'm moving and grooving right now. So,
good to know. I will have to think about that for myself.
Yeah, no, you get all the Pokemon. And basically everything but Keldeo has been available this whole week. And weekend, so.
Understood. Nice. Yeah, no, that's very cool. That's very cool. Anything on your end, Jushiro? Anything cool? Anything interesting?
Not yet. No, need to start on the games that I re-downloaded and keep opening packs for Pocket, I guess.
What I want to do, so we still have like on stream, we have the X and Y Nuzlocke on Wednesdays. That is still very much a scheduled stream. First of all, if you are watching our streams and you want to watch more of our streams, Cloud9 is going to start streaming this week as well. I think twice a week. He's looking at it will be on the schedule. I actually got him to schedule it. I'm amazed. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
He usually just likes to pop on whatever, but he's like I'm going to schedule it. I'm going to take your advice. I'm going to schedule it. Because I mentioned to him,
he's actually scheduling. It's happening.
Yeah. Well, because I think he saw like the viewership I've been getting with scheduling. Because I think combined on like YouTube and Twitch, we're getting like 20-ish viewers, which isn't like terrible.
I mean, it's something.
I mean, there's a lot of I know a lot of streamers that would kill for that, right? So
right.
And
Exactly.
he saw that, and when he was streaming beforehand and just like doing his like drop-in streams, he found that his viewership was very, very low. So scheduling's huge. Like this is just like for anybody trying to do content creation, that's just free tip of the episode.
Whatever it is,
scheduling is incredibly important. especially with streams. I like in my content strategy, I don't see streaming as ever being our like main thing, but streaming is a big part of how we interact with the community. And so that is how I see streaming. It is a supplement for you guys to come and interact with us. And I believe that, if you don't schedule it, people don't know to come. Right? Mm-hmm. They don't know to come, especially when you guys are listening here, right? So Wednesdays are me. At least Tuesdays for right now are going to be Claude. I believe he's going to try to do either Thursday or Saturday as well. It will all be on. If you follow our socials, I have a little graphic image that comes out Sunday night with our week of content. So definitely check that out if you're interested in coming in. He's going to do Pokemon Mystery Dungeon because that's this month's Badge Bonanza. It's just to play Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. What I'm going to
be doing next is start on that. I'm going to just play on the virtual console.
Ooh, on the virtual console. That's a cool way to do it.
Yeah. I figured it'd be easier just to take it around and whatnot instead of doing emulator. But I know some people are going to try it that way.
Yeah. What I really want to do on stream, though, that I haven't talked about is I just want to do, like, I might start doing an extra stream a week occasionally. Where like it's just me trying to complete the national deck so I can go finish all that home stuff.
Oh yeah, no, that's also my priorities right now.
Yeah, I want to go finish all the home stuff so that I can get all the home shinies. I haven't done that yet. And so I'll probably do a Legends Arceus and just like finish it out because I finished the game in that one. And just go collect everything and get a home deck.
That's not too bad to do.
No, I think that's where I'm going to start. And then I think I may go Shutter back to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. And go complete that.
My advice, if you do go and try to do that, because have you beaten Arceus before?
Yeah.
In PLA? Oh, you have?
Yep.
Okay. Because
I'm good.
I had
I'm
issues
ready
the first
to go.
time I tried to do it, and I just basically bought all those little charms, those in the background, just to give myself more survivability. That made it 100 times easier.
I believe that. Oh, all right. Well, there's plenty of stuff to talk about today, so I don't want us to go on too long here. So let's go ahead and let's kick it on over to our news segment, where we're going to talk about some of the news, not the Pokemon Day news, unfortunately. Maybe some of the smaller stuff, but I want to
talk all the small stuff.
Let's get the small stuff out of the way. Let's talk some of that small stuff. Let's get it out of the way. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to the quiz, followed by the topic. Of course, as always, timestamps are in the show notes and on the YouTube description. So be sure to check them out there. But with that, guys, we're going to kick it on over to our news segment. So let's cue that epic music. Choo-choo! Welcome to the news. There are so many things to talk about. Oh my gosh.
Finally.
The drought is over. The drought is over, family. So first of all, and most exciting to somebody, Pokemon Concierge is getting a second season. We knew it was getting a second season. They just kind of announced when we were getting the second season. The second season is supposed to come out in September. On Netflix again. We mentioned this last week, but the first 4 episodes of Pokemon Concierge are free for those of you who aren't on Netflix. On YouTube until March 9th. A very weird time, like, I don't know. It's very weird that they're holding it back. It's very strange.
Probably a Netflix thing.
It probably is.
Like a Netflix thing. It's got to be a Netflix thing.
But
it's like, it's fine. Like, hey, it's really, like, it takes, like, combined, they're about an hour-ish long. It is
Concierge is pretty great. Concierge is pretty cool.
It is worth watching at least once. It is so cute just seeing all this. The stop motion is so good with all of them. And it's kind of nice, especially when they already have teased, the other claymation, Pokemon movie things coming out in the future. It's like, this is just a little tease of what that could look like, so.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great. It's great. Watch it if you can.
In news that some people care about as well, we got the next drop for like the next 3 Pokemon for Pokemon Unite. I'm glad that this game's still healthy, by the way. Like, it's still alive and is doing well. In Pokemon Unite, we've got Suicune just released now. It came out a couple days ago. And Alolan Raichu's coming, which I think is actually pretty hype. Given that Pikachu's been in the game. Yeah, given that Pikachu's been in the game, it's really cool to see Alolan Raichu come.
Also, Pikachu's
I think
in the game and no Raichu. No regular Raichu.
Yeah, Raichu's not in the game to begin with at all. Like, there's no regular Raichu. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like an Eevee situation where, like, you either play as Pikachu or you play as Alolan Raichu. Or I could see it even going, like, I wonder if they would update Pikachu to be like Scyther, you know?
I think, yeah, that's a good question, actually. Yeah.
I'm waiting for Cleavor.
Okay. I think I wish it would have probably have. I think in hindsight, that's probably the way they should have gone. But the fact that they're doing it like this, I think it's a totally different Pokemon, and it's just going to be.
That's what I think.
It's going to be
that's
like
fine.
Eevee, all the evolutions. I
agree.
Whether or not you're going to get a Pikachu or you're going to get a Alolan Raichu outright, or maybe you get Pikachu Raichu.
You play as Eevee and they evolve to their to their evolution, but for Pikachu it doesn't, and it might be that for Alolan Raichu it doesn't either. It just you start out as Alolan Raichu.
Yeah,
they might do that because that's how they have to do it, for Pokemon Go right now. They don't any of the regional forms that are like that, like Alolan Marowak, Alolan Executor. Yeah. You don't get to evolve the regular Pikachu into it. No, you have to just catch them in raids or as research rewards or whatnot.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean that's probably the way they'll do it, but see.
And I believe Alolan Raichu is coming in April time frame. And then All Creamy is next. They just said soon, essentially.
That's a
That's real. Which means it's going to be like late April, early May.
Late April, early May is just going to be
monthly releases with these guys. So
yep, I'm actually really
Vaporeon.
I'm still really hyped that they're doing it. Jolteon, Vaporeon, and Flareon have to be happening this month or this year because Nintendo has declared, or not Nintendo, but TBCI has declared 2025 the year of Eevee. So it has to happen.
Oh, yeah.
We are in the year of Eevee. Which is why everybody's like, oh, there's going to be a flying type Eevee evolution. I don't know how much I believe that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. All right. So next, what did I miss? Pokemon Masters EX, blah, 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 blah. We're talking about that later.
Masters EX, you get new, was it the shiny primal,
the shiny primals and Mega Rayquaza, right? So yeah,
I was like, oh, it's cool. If you play the game, it's cool. If you haven't played the game, it's still worth trying a little bit. They'll probably give you a bunch of gems, and you can get them easy. They're gonna carry you forever. So
yeah,
do it.
And then Pokemon Sleep has Cresselia and Darkrai. Pokemon Cafe Remix exists.
I will say Cafe Remix. I wish that I could eat the food in that game because that Appleton
it looks really cool.
Looking drink looks freaking delicious. I'm like, that were
it
real.
looks really good.
Buy that here.
Looks really good.
Also, it was in this trailer that I found out that Apple Pond, I forgot his name. The ears are actually his eyes.
Oh, Appleton? Yeah, no, the ears are his eyes.
Appleton,
yeah.
Didn't know that.
And then they also announced in the Pokemon Presents this week that they're going to increase the number of languages for the Pokemon games again, which is always great. More languages, always better. And what we're moving into now is that Latin American Spanish is going to be available for the Pokemon franchise. Like franchise, I don't even want to just say. It's going to be going to the games. It's coming from Pokemon ZA, but it's also coming to the Pokemon TCG as well.
Yep.
Which is very exciting. So, I mean, more languages is always better.
Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
Spain.
Is it what is the big difference, Jushiro? I think you're actually the expert on this.
It's because Spanish from Spain is quite different from Spanish in Latin America. Lots of words mean different things. It's like being like, oh, English, or is it English that compared to American English?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know if that's different enough. But
it's not that different, but I can see. Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah,
what you're saying.
Exactly. You have the chips and the color and like color with the U. You got like
the
that
same
for
with Latin
UK
American
English. So it's like
the final thing
like that. Plus, you also get the indigenous like people of Mexican and Latin America that influence the language to make it different than continental Spanish. So
yeah.
The last thing I get to talk about, I think, is that Honda made a Koraidon motorcycle, much like Toyota did for Miraidon not too long ago. So that's really cool. The problem is with the Koraidon one, does it run on the legs? Did the legs spin? You know, or
the
legs spin?
Would have been
I don't know.
hilarious if they tried that.
Yeah,
and
feel based.
Oh, go ahead.
We'll see how it's in motion.
Of course
I think,
it is.
like March in actually is it
It's
next
soon.
week?
It's soon.
Weekend.
Yeah, it's next week. Yeah.
Next weekend.
And then
it's
the anime gets an update this week as well. On the next
exciting.
arc, and they did drop this art of a shiny Mega Lucario.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. I mean, if it would have been a Mega Lucario, I'd be like, Ash is coming back, baby. I just want one symbol in this anime that this takes place in the same world that Ash Ketchum was in. I just want one thing. Let me meet a character that Ash met. Let me meet one character that Ash met. And then they go, yeah, there was this one trainer, and like we just dropped like the little bump, right? Like the little nod to like, hey, remember we had an anime before this one. For 20
Make him
years.
to be like the Kanto champion. It's like, oh, we're meeting with the Kanto champion today, and it's Ash.
No, I don't even need them to see Ash. All I really need is like they go to Kalos, right, for Mega Evolution or something, and what they do is somebody goes, oh yeah, we know I battled this one kid this one time, and like it's a reference to Ash, and I just go, okay, this makes me feel better. I'm done. That's all I need. But yeah, all right. We can move on to the games. I don't know who wants those parts on the news document. Okay, where we start?
Take these. All right. So first of all, in Scarlet Violet, we've got new set of 7-star raids. Over the next couple weekends, you're gonna get the Paldean starters as the Mighty Mark. So
that's exciting.
Masquerada going on right now, and followed by Skeledirge and Quaquaval. And then they've also teased that all the pseudo legends will, excluding Hisui, Gudra, and Archulodon, will be getting their own Mighty Mark raids coming up over the next little bit.
Heck yeah!
So Tyranitar, Dragapult, Baxcalibur, everyone in between.
That's so exciting. They've done such a good job making it not awful.
Yeah.
Like these raids, I think these raids are much more fun than the raids we had in Sword and Shield. So like, good job to you guys. Kudos to Pokemon. Yeah. Kudos to Pokemon.
And I'm sure they're going to continue this to whatever next generation it is, because it's.
Raids.
It really does bring the community back in with them. It's just they're just such a great addition.
No, raids are just phenomenal. I think they should always just keep those. All right, what else do you have on your list there, Shark?
All right. And for the outbreaks that are happening, they're going to have outbreak of red, blue, and green Pokemon. So you get.
I'm so excited.
I think the big ones in this are Charcadet and Applin. Like are ones that are particularly like really like fun ones to get that you kind of want. But I mean, they've also got Smoliv, Finizen, Poliwag, Swaddle, Scyther, Lapras, and Porygon. So
it's going to be really cool.
Shinies.
Everybody's got a good shiny except for Charcadet, I think. Like Charcadet, shiny's cool, but
Swaddle
it's just
sort of is but
they're kind of meh. Like Charcadet's a Pokemon that could have had a cool shiny, and they kind of dropped the ball on it, right? Like they just dropped the ball on it.
Yeah, but like Smoliv is pretty good. You get the black olive.
Yeah.
Finizen gets a little purple to him. Poliwag's really good. I think.
Poliwag's okay.
Politoed.
Politoed is good. Poliwrath is meh.
Yeah.
Poliwrath is very meh.
Yeah. Poliwrath. Politoed is great. Applins. Just having all the Applins is good. The green apples. Scythers is good. Lapras is great. Porygon is great. So
yeah, most of these are good. I would say. Like Smoliv is really good. But yeah. All right. What else we got? What else we got?
And
in
then
the
the
news?
last thing for Scarlet Violet is that you get you can get codes to get custom Scarlet Violet books phone cases. So
yes,
your
the
little
phone
phone can
cases,
look like the books.
The phone case. I don't have the code on screen, but those do exist.
Yeah.
All right.
Legend,
well,
come to the Discord. We have a bunch of codes because
we have all the
ton
codes.
of code giveaways, especially in Pokemon Go, where there's a ton of them. So come to the Discord. We're here to help you get all that info.
Speaking of that, Jushiro, you want to let us know about Pokemon Go?
Sure.
I got Go.
Oh wait, no, never mind. Shark's got Go. Shark is the Go aficionado.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, who's got Go? I don't care. Whoever has Go has Go.
I got Go. So the next upcoming season, we've gotten some teases on that, where there's going to be a Cubfu research going along.
Yes.
With that, where you can get Dynamax Cubfu and the Gmax Urshifus, which is kind of exciting.
Yeah.
There's also Nickit was teased in the trailer, as well as a couple other Gmax and like Dynamax of the Johtos Legendary Trio. Gmax Machamp is teased. And then like a Shadow Dialga as well were teased in this upcoming season.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be kind of fun to see. I think the Nickit's kind of cool. It was like, hey, we're finally getting more Galar Pokemon, which we need.
Yeah, we do.
And then Fuecoco Community Day is happening at the end of the week.
Yay!
Yeah, so we get the Fuecoco boy then. And later in the month, we get the classic for Totodile. So gotta get that gotta get some shinies that you can bring into ZA. So that's all that Go has.
Well, there's TCG news then.
Though. Yep. TCG, we have
the former host of the TCG podcast.
Mega Evolutions have been shown to be back. There are 3 prizes. They're worth 3 prizes and evolve from their previous evolutions. Mega Gardevoir is a stage 2, evolving from Kirlia. Mega Lucario evolves from Railu, as examples. In our next set, releasing in May,
I think that's literally. I do think Mega Evolutions in the TCG, the way they're handling them, is absolutely the worst way they could have been handling them.
Yeah, it's half your.
It's like the most boring way they could have handled it, honestly, the entire time. Because they could have, instead of just making them evolve from the previous evolutions and making them 3 prizers, it would have just been really cool to make them like break Pokemon. You know, like remember Pokemon Break from like 2016, 2017, where you could place the card on top and you make the Pokemon evolve further. I think that would have been a cooler mechanic.
Yep.
And
the
a
fact
little
that
bit
it's more difficult to get there, you could remove that extra prize because it's
exactly.
You know, it's difficult to get to a stage 3 that the game typically doesn't have, right? But it is what it is.
I absolutely agree.
Our next set, releasing in May, will be Destined Rivals, featuring Ethan, Cynthia, my girl, and Team Rocket.
Yes.
And we'll also have the Steven and Marnie cards, but we're also getting the Steven and Marnie decks in May.
Yes. That is happening.
Pocket, on the other hand, has released the new Arceus theme set, which I haven't gotten anything good out of yet.
That sounds like it, Jushiro.
Yeah. And Pokemon Master.
I mean, the set has some interesting Pokemon. I'm curious how much will be meta.
Yeah.
That I think
they did announce they did announce the rank ladder too, right?
Oh yes, they did.
Yes, they did.
The rank ladder's coming like at the end of March or something.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Yeah. I think a lot of people have been waiting for that because I don't know. I the cutest thing about
nothing to fight right now.
Well, the cutest thing about Pokemon Pocket, in my opinion, is that there's so many people it's getting into it, and it's really cute to watch them rediscover TCG strategies that have already existed for years. Because there's just certain cards that have certain abilities that are very familiar to a lot of Pokemon fans. So I find it very fun when they go ahead and just bring those back.
Yeah. Like I like the silly like do tons of passive damage type of things, like with the Darkrai. They've got a new Crobat in this set that I want to try out with Arceus. That'll just like ramp up, where it's like as long as you control Arceus with this Crobat, you deal 30 damage to the active. So it's even a better Greninja. So I'm like, ooh,
that makes sense.
Just start getting a tons of chip damage. I'm like, ooh, that sounds fun. I'm going to have to try that as soon as I pull one.
Yeah.
Good luck on that. Pokemon Masters EX has a little TCG mat giveaway for playing some stages based on the upcoming TCG set and posting a screenshot on
it's
Twitter.
Weird. Pokemon Masters EX is giving away a playmat. It's so weird. Yeah. I don't understand.
They do a lot of giveaways, which is kind of interesting.
It's weird. It's so weird. All right, and finally, Puckle's Badge Bonanza this month, as we mentioned last segment, is the first Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Rescue Team Red, Blue, or DX, the remake that came out for the Switch. You can earn your basic badge for defeating Zapdos and the gold badge for reaching the credits. But we all know the most exciting part is sharing what Pokemon you get from the personality quiz at the start. So there you go.
So be posting them. There's threads open, so... Come tell us who you're picking.
And then I love this little news bit from Wo-Chan's News Corner. News brought to you at a snail's pace, where we typically give you news from 10 years ago. But 29 years ago this week, Pokemon Red and Green came out in Japan. That's why it was Pokemon Day.
Yay! For those who don't know, that's why.
That is why. I'm pretty hyped. Actually, I'm hyped for a number of reasons for next year's Pokemon Day, because it's the 30th anniversary, and second of all, it's a Friday.
No, you're right. That's such a.
I'm throwing a party in my house for myself. It's gonna be great. This is the closest thing to a religious holiday for us.
If I can make it, I'll drop in.
I didn't invite you guys to my house. Don't assume there's invites, okay?
Well, at the very least, I'm having the virtual party with you.
Actually, I think sometime around like a year from now, there's a chance that like I'll be in between studios, and there's a chance I'll be in between studios this time next year. So we'll find out. Because we're moving to a new house in about a year or so.
Wow.
Nice. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Yeah. All right. Well, with that, guys, that has been the news. So our next segment, as it has been for the past, I don't know, like 10 years, is our Puckle's Poke Quiz, where we're gonna quiz your co-host on their insane Pokemon knowledge. So let's go ahead and kick it on over to that.
Oh hi, and welcome to the Poke Quiz, the part of the show where we quiz our co-hosts on their insane Pokemon knowledge. I'm Mark from the Dunsparce Gang, here to explain the rules. Our fabulous co-hosts will work as a team to answer 5 Pokemon-themed trivia questions that fans have submitted on the Discord server. Each question is worth 1 point, with Pokedex and multiple answer questions worth more, for a total of 7 points. The host can use a free hint at any time. If they get all the answers correct and do not use the hint, they can cash it in for an 8th point.
Welcome to Puckle's Poke Quiz. Thank you for that introduction, Mark. We're going to jump right into it. Professor Oak, as always, tells us it's time for the Poke Quiz. So we're going to get into our first question, which is always a general trivia question for you guys. So we're going to get right into it. Our first question is going to come to you from the Mighty G, who I think is just Liger, but I'm okay with that. And the Mighty G asks, what first partner Pokemon reaches its final stage the earliest?
Repeat the question one more time.
What first partner Pokemon, in parentheses I should say starter, reaches its final stage the earliest?
Isn't it?
It's a good question. Excluding the fact that
I know the answer to this.
And partner Eevee,
they don't evolve. They don't count.
Don't evolve, so therefore are at their quote final stage.
They don't count. They don't count.
They don't count.
They don't count.
I think it's I know Venusaur evolves at level 32. Typhlosion,
Man,
I think, also has a
I'm
pretty
so
early
upset
one.
right now. I am so upset right now. You guys don't even know.
What?
I'm so upset right now. Okay, keep going.
There's someone that evolves at 30.
I'm not answering this question for you because I know the answer.
Shark.
I'm trying to think if there's one earlier than Venusaur. It's like I know Venusaur and Typhlosion are the two that I know offhand that are like super early,
Right.
comparatively.
Right.
It's just, is there another silly Pokemon starter Pokemon that I'm overlooking here by the wording of this question?
Eevee from the stadiums, I guess.
Eevee doesn't count. Eevee doesn't count.
Eevee doesn't count. Okay.
It doesn't count. It does not count. This is a traditional mainline, starter Pokemon. I need an answer here, guys.
Venusaur?
What's the answer? What's the answer?
Let's go with Venusaur.
Venusaur is unfortunately incorrect. The answer is Feraligatr. Feraligatr evolves at level 30. Croconaw evolves with Feraligatr at level 30. Yeah, it evolves the latest into its first stage into Croconaw, but the earliest into its final stage.
Okay, I missed. Okay,
it does.
I didn't remember that 100%. I felt like there might have been something there that was sneaky early, but I just did not remember it.
Yeah, you guys missed that one.
I knew there was something.
I'm eternally disappointed. I'm just eternally disappointed.
I should have known by your reaction.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, our next question is another general trivia question, so you can redeem yourselves. This one's going to be from Spleen. And Spleen would like to know, what is the longest time between the introduction of a Pokemon and the introduction of that Pokemon's signature move?
What?
Some Pokemon have signature moves, which are moves that only that Pokemon or that Pokemon line can learn. So what is the longest time between the introduction of a Pokemon and that Pokemon's signature move?
So the Pokemon was introduced first, and then the signature move was introduced. Okay.
Later, in probably a later generation, which has happened multiple times, but there are some times that have been the longest possible for this to have occurred.
Man, that's a tough one.
This is a tough one indeed.
That's a toughie.
Signature moves that were established later on.
Just trying to think of...
There's so many, I just can't pinpoint.
There are a lot of them. There are two of them in this particular scenario, actually. I'll give you that as a free hint, but...
Two of them.
Yeah.
It's not Volt Tackle. I don't think Volt Tackle is considered a signature move for Pikachu.
Ooh,
it is
a signature move for Pikachu. It is actually.
That
is actually a really good answer.
Okay.
Honestly, Pikachu's Volt Tackle
There's better
is
moves.
such a good answer.
Okay.
There's better. There's longer times.
Okay.
Really? Okay. Shoot. Oh man, why'd you do that? I was actually happy
because I don't want you guys to get the
answer.
answer wrong again. Okay, I don't want you to be 0 for 2. Okay. I'm rooting for you. You can use the hit. You do have the multiple answer question, which is where you guys traditionally save it for. But
Mewtwo Psystrike might be it actually.
Just when was Psystrike introduced?
That's my question. I don't think it was. I feel like it's a long time because Psychic was the big move forever on it. But I'm trying to think of when Psystrike was introduced. That's one I can think of offhand. I just know it's always had Psystrike in later gens, but I feel like it's like somewhere between 5 and 7. And that might be a better answer.
Okay. I'm willing to go with that one.
I'm go with Mewtwo on Psystrike because I at least feel better about that one.
Is that what you're locking in?
Without using the hint, that's what I'm going to go with.
All right. Psystrike is unfortunately incorrect, with which would be the timeline of Gen 1 to Gen 5. because Side Strike was introduced in Gen 5. I literally said it accidentally and you guys didn't pick up on it. But it is literally the longest time possible from Gen 1 to Gen 9 is the correct answer. Because Primate gets Rage Fist now.
Oh, jeez.
And also,
my God, yes.
and also, Blaze Breed Paldean Tauros gets Raging Bull.
Yeah, that's an asterisk on that one, but yeah,
which is like that kind of counts.
Primate.
But Primate counts. Primate counts with Rage Fist. Yeah.
Why I could. I forget. Yeah, no, it's not. Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys are 0 for 2. Your next question is your Pokedex entry question, as always. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna see if you can get this one. This is going to come to you from Flint Ironstag. I guess this is a dwarf, like a D&D dwarf. That's what it sounds like. He's also a ranger. Also a ranger because of the Ironstag part.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be, your first entry is going to be from Pokemon Ultra Moon. And it's going to say, before it stops to think, it just starts pummeling. There are a record of it turning back avalanches with a flurry of punches. Before it stops to think, it starts pummeling. There are records of it turning back avalanches with a flurry of punches. Who's that Pokemon?
Good question. Well, it's a punching Pokemon.
It's punching and it sounds like it's ice.
Or it might have some iciness to it.
Crabominable?
It could be Crabominable could be a really good answer here. Because you got like it's Crabominable could be it. You could have an argument for like Hitmonchan, Primate, but those don't quite fit it. I'm trying to think of other Pokemon that's really good with the punching fists. But Champ.
Avalanche.
I think that has.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything else other than
ice fighting wise. It's Crabominable.
Right.
Is that what we're going with?
I would go with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's lock that in. I'm going to give you the next entry before I reveal it because that's the way the video is set up now.
Okay.
But the second entry, I'll give you a chance to change your answer if you want, but if we stick with Crabominable, 2 points if it's correct.
Okay.
This next entry is going to be from Pokemon Sun.
Okay, so it's same gen. That's a good sign so far.
Same gen. Yeah. It aimed for the top, but got lost and ended up on a snowy mountain. But being forced to endure the cold, this Pokemon evolved and grew fur.
Yeah, it's Crabominable.
Yeah,
we're gonna stick with it. We're sticking with that answer. Are we sticking with that answer?
I think so. Reach it to the top. So
the other
sounds very much like Rocky, but it got stuck and lost in the mountain. No.
Yeah, I think it has to be because I'm trying to think of any. I was trying to make sure it's not some secret regional form, an Alola that it would be.
Secret regional form.
Because that reads exactly like what happened for like the Alolan Sandshrew or like the Alolan.
Yeah, okay, but the first entry was about pummeling. The first entry was about pummeling.
I agree with you there, but I'm trying to make sure I'm not overlooking something. But yeah, no, it's probably Crabominable.
All right, let me go ahead and click the button. The answer is Crabominable. You are correct. Yay! You guys are correct. 2 points there. You're 2 for 3. Your next entry is your multiple answer. There are 5 answers to this question. I will let you know in advance. And you guys are 2 for 3. So I will give you an opportunity here for an unprecedented 4 points. Yeah, 4 points. 4 points. For every answer you give me, you get a point. If you get all 5, pat yourselves on the back. All right. You do have 3 strikes, 3 chances before for every answer, so you do have to lock them in before we go. But I am going to ask you this question. This question is going to come to you from That Steve Kid.
Okay.
That's their name. What are the top 5 most common... I didn't type the whole question here. What are the top 5 most common dual types that Pokemon have?
Let's start with normal flying. Lock that in because Everything.
That is correct
flies
with
is
like
normal.
a massive I think it's like stupid high. I think it's like 27 of them exist.
Yeah, it's
that is correct.
Everything, and
that is correct. That is 1 point.
Yeah, my second thought,
grass poison.
That's my second thought.
Yeah,
let's go.
Grass poison. Grass poison is tied for second with 14. 14. That is correct.
14. Okay, that's a good thing to note. I have a third guess.
Bug flying.
Ooh, bug flying is probably better than bug poison. So because you got Butterfree, you got Motham, you got Vespa Queen, Combee.
What's your answer then? What's your answer?
Trying to think.
Are you gonna lock that
how many
in?
more bug flyings are there? No, bug poison. Is it more? Trying to think of all the other bugs.
You don't have to get them in order. If
Scyther. Let's do bug flying first. I'll go with your gut.
Bug flying is also a answer. It is also tied for number 2 at 14.
Okay, that's more. Okay.
So there are 2 more answers on the board.
Bug poison.
This would have been a good Fuchsia City Feud question, actually.
It is really good Fuchsia City Feud.
This would have been a really good Fuchsia City Feud.
You have Dustox. You've got the Venipede line. I'm trying to think, is there any other bug poisons, or am I wrong on that front? We should go water, because water might be the way to go too. There's got to be a water something. I'm trying to think. Water flying, water ground, water. Oh, there's 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm thinking.
I think water ground.
There are two more answers. You haven't gotten anything wrong. You got all the strikes.
Quagsire, Wooper.
I need an answer here, guys.
7.
He needs an answer. Ooh, rock ground.
Oh my god. Yes. Rock ground.
Rock ground is your first strike. It does not make this list.
Oh wow.
Does not make this list. Yeah. Does not make the list.
Interesting indeed.
Let's do water ground then.
Water ground? I don't think there's.
I feel because let me think here. Because I've got Wooper, Quagsire, Palpitoad, Seismitoad, Marshtomp, Swampert. That's 6. Gastrodon 7.
No, you're right. Yeah, there are a lot.
I'm trying to think. Is there more than those? I have 7 right off the bat. That's.
Guys are at 3. I only need one more answer to get you full credit. Okay.
No.
Let's do with that. Let's go with water ground. We have 2 more strikes, so.
Yeah.
Let's
go there, and then if we want to use a hint, we can use a hint then.
Yeah.
Water ground is incorrect. That is not one of the top 5.
Okay. What is? Do we go for the hint?
It's either. Do you want to use it here, or do you want to use it on the stat question?
Oh right, we still have the stat question. Okay, no, let's think about it a little bit more.
I feel like you could have waters. You could have it's like water flying dragon. Could have some potential dual type combos there.
Right.
Steel rock, or like
you've only said normal flying, bug flying, and grass poison. Those are the only ones you've said so far. As a reminder.
Oh my god, I'm sure people are like screaming at the podcast right now.
Water flying.
I need an answer here, guys.
What about let me talk through water flying real fast. You've got Gyarados,
Mantike.
You got Mantike. You've got Pelipper, Wingull. You got Ducklet, Swanna. Is there more water flyings?
Not that I recall.
Man, if I could get more than this, because that's another 7. That's still just short.
It's just short.
What about water ice? Water ice.
Ooh.
You've got Cloyster, Dugong, Lapras, all the Spheals line.
Right.
I'm gonna need an answer here, guys.
That might be one. Yeah. Throw that one.
Let's
out.
do water ice. Water ice.
This would be your last strike if it's incorrect.
Yes, go for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Water ice is also unfortunately incorrect. So that is, you guys got 3 of the 4 points there. You're missing 2 of the combinations. You got normal flying, which had 27. You got bug flying, which was 14. You got grass poison, which was 14. You said it, but you didn't lock it in ever. Bug poison was next with 12.
We didn't say it.
I could not think of more of them. No. Yeah, there we go. I thought of it now. I just thought of it. I missed Weedle. The Weedle line, the Vinippy line, Dustox, that starts putting you close to that point.
And then you've also got the last one, which is rock water.
Right, because of the fossils.
Because of the fossils. Yeah, there's so many rock water fossils. And then, so you guys got 3, though, so you guys are 5 for 4. Your last question is your base stat question, as always. And we're going to jump right into it. This is from Just Ben. Just Ben asks, what Pokemon with the static ability has the highest base defense? What Pokemon? This is a mono electric type Pokemon. That was.
And what was the stat? With the highest or
defense?
lowest? What?
Defense, highest defense with the static ability. This Pokemon is a gym leader's ace as well.
Ooh, that's
or maybe not ace,
helpful.
But iconic. Yeah.
Okay, that is helpful because you've got Raichu, you've got Manectric, you've got I'm trying to think. What other electric? And it's mono electric. What's Gem 4? Luxray, which doesn't have static.
Doesn't. Okay.
You've got Zebstrika, Heliolisk, which not dual. Well, that's dual type. What else? What's his is Togedemaru? It's not 7. Bellybolt.
What about the squirrel?
Amolga's dual type flying.
No, the other squirrel.
Pachirisu?
It's not on a gym team. That was part of the hint.
Yeah. Try to think of Gen 8. Gen 8's electric trainer is. What am I blanking? Who's the Gen?
Electric didn't get a gym leader. It didn't get a gym leader in Gen 8.
It did not. That's what I thought. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't think Gen 8 got it.
I'll give you that for free. Gen 8 did not have an electric gym leader.
Did not have a gym leader. So therefore, and then Gen 9 is Bellybolt. And Bellybolt is a very defensive Pokemon. And I'm 90% sure it has static and electro Morphus as its ability. So I think it's got to be Bellybolt because it's Bellybolt, Raichu, or Manectric. I don't remember if Manectric has static. I feel like it might.
Right.
But I'm not thinking that thing. I don't think Raichu ain't defensive.
Right. Neither is
unless you want to. The other option is Ampharos, where it's not really a gym leader's signature. It's one of the ones that they're like tied with. I'm not sure.
I need an answer, guys.
I'm gonna go with Bellybolt, though.
Yeah,
I like Bellybolt.
We're locking in Bellybolt.
Yeah.
Bellybolt is correct with a base 91 defense. Followed up by Arctozolt with 90, Zapdos with 85, and Ampharos at 85 as well. And then Stunfisk, which is I think like 45. It like drops off really hard.
Really?
Yeah. Well, because it's static. It's Pokemon with static, right?
I thought Stunfisk had better defense than that. I don't think it's
I think it's maybe I got it wrong. I copied it. Oh, 84. Wow, I am just terrible. It's 84. I lied.
Yeah, that thing is actually because I've used it before on a competitive, like on a draft league team, and it's funny using defensive Stunfisk.
That gives you guys how many points then? It gives you guys a lot. 6.
2,
you guys
3,
wait.
1?
You made out. You made out with 6. So good for you. Good for you. That does change up the standings. It does change them up. Jushiro sitting here like, oh man, I've been on the show. I've been cheating. I've been playing the system.
I am the Chicago Cubs of Puckle.
If we play more games, we'll certainly win. In first place, we've got Jushiro with 31 points currently. In second place, you know what's even worse, Jushiro? It doesn't matter. You only need to be in the top 4 to be able to win the whole thing.
It does matter.
In second place, we have R Sigma with 27. In third, Seth Vila with 23. In fourth, Claude 9 with 21. In fifth, Sharkfinnagen with 18. In sixth, Linian with 16. In seventh, Sublime with 15. In eighth, Whimsicott with 14. And bringing up the rear, we got Bo with 5. So yeah, there we go. That is your standings. Top 4 make it to the bracket, but that top 4 can change between now and the end of November. So will we get our first triple digit trivia score this year? Who knows? We changed it this year. Probably.
Yeah.
So it probably.
Probably.
Yeah. So with that, we are going to go ahead, guys, and kick it on over to our topic.
Choo choo.
Welcome to our topic. Our topic today is going to be the Pokemon Presents, but mostly just Pokemon Champions and Pokemon ZA. Because I think those were the 2 big announcements from
Everything else we've touched on
trailer.
Already. It's fine.
Yeah.
Let's go to the good stuff now.
No, this is like the meat and potatoes, right? Like this is the meat and potatoes.
Exactly.
So I want to start with the discussion about Pokemon Champions. Just because I'm not going to have as many things to say because we know very little about it. But I was actually like if you watch the reaction stream, which you can watch on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/puclpodcast, you can actually watch me react to it, and I kind of lost it.
A little bit.
This is like my favorite. This is my favorite thing that like Pokemon's done. Has been Pokemon Champions, because we've talked about this for years, right? Where we're just like, Pokemon Home needs a battle simulator.
Yes,
it does.
Where you can just take the Pokemon from Pokemon Home and put them in. And I think we've all agreed that this is something that we all want, and we think would be really cool. And then they actually gave it to us. Like I am genuinely surprised. I thought to myself, there's no way they gave us something we actually wanted.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, like it exceeded my expectation that it's at least in the sense that it's also able to be used on the phone.
Yeah, I think that you have to at this point, because Pokemon Home you can also use on the phone, right?
Right.
I think Pokemon Home on the phone is it's a great thing, and most of the functionality is kind of locked to the phone, which is unfortunate. Like you can't do like Wonder Trade on like the Switch app.
It's weird. It's weird. Like both the Switch version has all the organizing your box stuff, but the phone has all the trading and all the extra features. Yeah,
all the trading. I do like that the trading is on Pokemon Home, right? Like that's a very cool way. Like you can trade, and now you can battle on Pokemon Champions, which is essentially Pokemon Home's integration into battling. I also I like this for so many reasons. Like I have so many thoughts, guys. Okay, so one really cool that like. Yeah, well, two things. Trailer showed multi-gimmick battles, really cool, because you can do both Mega Evolution and Terrestrialization. Very cool. That's just like fantastic. Dream. Also, if those are the only 2 gimmicks that make it, I'm not going to complain.
I expect future games to have future gimmicks that are incorporated in there. But if we lose, I would love to see Z moves and G Max. But we'll see if and when those come.
If those come, I don't care. Like if they're not there, I just don't care. So one thing that I do want to point out to everybody, just to like kind of temper expectations, and we talked about this a little bit on the stream after the presents, but they did note that not all Pokemon will be available, at least immediately, in Pokemon Champions, which is fine. Again, fine. I don't expect Pokemon Champions to have everything right away, but they did show like the big thing for me was they showed like Scarlet and Violet Pokemon like Dondozo, Charizard is obviously there in Mega Charizard, but they also showed Aegislash, right? Which is
not
in Scarlet and Violet. Yeah,
it is in Sword and Shield. So
yeah, to be fair, it's gonna be in Legends, like Legends ZA,
and it's gonna be. Mm-hmm.
It'll be in Legends ZA, but it was also in Sword and Shield. And I think they chose what would have been bigger to me is if they would have shown like one Pokemon that's exclusive to Sword and Shield. Like that would have been really cool. It would have really rounded that out because they had the Hisuian Samurott as well as kind of like the, hey, look, this Pokemon from Pokemon Legends Arceus is here. I do like it because I think what we lacked in Gen 8 and we'll probably continue to lack because they didn't give us a release date for this or anything. What we will continue to lack is a way, like when they release Legends, there's going to be a new Pokemon of some sort, right? There's going to be something like a new form, a new Pokemon. And like when we got Legends Arceus, we got all of the Hisuian evolutions and we weren't able to use them in VGC. And I think this is going to be their solution to that problem. Where as soon as Pokemon Home compatibility hits that game, those Pokemon are not going to be available for competitive before they have to be integrated into a new game or something. So I think that's a really, really cool thing that they can do now. Like Pokemon, I think for the longest time, and if you actually look at like the 2010s, Pokemon was like Game Freak, I should say, not Pokemon, but Game Freak was really feeling the squeeze by Pokemon, where they really, really wanted to develop something big like Pokemon. Like they wanted to develop another franchise that wouldn't keep them like in the Pokemon box because they were kind of tired of just making the same game over and over again. And I don't really blame them.
Nope.
And I think Legends has been a really cool way where they can kind of stretch that and make a game that's a bit different. It's been very successful so far, and I kind of like that. I'm happy for them for that reason.
Yeah.
But
and to me, like
go ahead, Shark.
The fact that Champions now exists means the mainline games will have less stress on them.
Yes.
I think it lets you do whatever you want on the mainline game. As long as you have the standard battles that exist, like like you have to have a franchise that still has the same turn-based structure. You could change it up any way you want. You can come up with whatever gimmicks or whatnot, and if it works or doesn't work or whatnot, that's okay. They can experiment now a little bit more, but still have a beautiful stadium-style system that they can potentially use as their main hub going forward for competitive Pokemon because you don't have
absolutely
to
agree.
Switch around or whatever system you have. This is where you can play your VGC.
You can do it on phone.
On this.
On a phone.
Like, I mean, that's what they do in Pokemon Go. You have to use their phone. All you could it makes it easier for Pokemon to do that. You can just lock it up.
I'm very excited for this. I'm very for that reason.
It lets you
think
do a lot there.
The things I hope for, and this is, I want to say hope for. I'm not going to say I think Pokemon Champions will do this. These are things I hope for that we hopefully will get more information for as the year goes on. But things I really hope for Pokemon Champions. One, I want the timer to be resolved so that we can play singles again.
Yeah, that's going to be and that's something I'll talk about in a second here. But that's
going to be the big thing.
6v6 singles back.
I think is
great.
Yeah. 2, I really hope they let us do custom rule sets, kind of like we used to be able to do in Pokemon like Battle Revolution. Yes. You can set up custom rule sets. I think that would be really cool. I do think, I do hope eventually, this is a hope, not a, I think this will happen 100%, but I do hope that they give us they give us all of the Pokemon, or at least most of the Pokemon, at long term in Pokemon Champions. I think they kind of have to, based on what they're trying to do. And I think the way to do it is they probably will host tournaments with different rule sets, because we can get those fun rule sets back again, where national deck stuff can have fun gimmicks and everything.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
man. Plus, not to mention
around all the ways.
Yeah, what I imagine we're going to get probably at first is we'll probably get a majority of like the Pokemon ZA decks, and we'll probably get a majority of the Scarlet Violet decks, assuming it comes out within the next year. Will be available on Pokemon Champions, right? I think that'll probably be the way it's handled, where like most of the Pokemon that we've been playing with in VGC will be available, and most of the Pokemon that are in the new games will be available, and that's how they'll slowly roll in all of the Pokemon from Pokemon Home. I kind of hope that's the way they handle it, at least. Like, we just get updates, because that's what this game is. It needs to be that. Or it's just kind of like a weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very weird.
I'm wondering the most, and I hope it's it's more accessible than not, is with this being an independent game and whatnot, is how how customizable are the Pokemon there, and what can you do with them? Because you have a beta get system out there already called Pokemon Showdown, that's basically where that's what everyone uses to practice and train. Because what do? You're able to just pick your Pokemon, boom, 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 adjust the sliders, boom, boom, slap items, slap abilities, boom, boom, done. How much of that are we going to get in this game? Are we going to be able to adjust? Because are you going to be able to EV train your own home Pokemon? Are you able to EV train your rental Pokemon? Because this game does have rental Pokemon, so you have those accessible. Like, what are those?
We don't know if they're rental Pokemon per se, for the record. We don't know if they're rental, but that's probably what it is. No, they just said that they're going to be Pokemon available in Pokemon Home or Pokemon Champions. I assume it's going to be.
No, they're rentals. I assume it's essentially rental.
I assume it's going to be very close to. I think maybe not exactly like Pokemon Stadium, but my imagination is it's going to be like a very limited capacity, much like Pokemon Revolution, where there were like 36 or something rental Pokemon available.
Yeah, that's fair. Like there's going to be some number that are going to be like competitively viable Pokemon. Like it won't be like, it might be like max, like nothing like, like how like how Wolfie or whatnot will have, will have like this much in HP, this much in speed for this reason. Like it'll just probably be like max IV type of things, which gets you by decently well. But
yeah,
again, like how customizable honestly are we going to get? Because that's also going to be a question of like the long term for Pokemon Showdown is like, well, if you get champions here and it does have all those things, then basically Showdown is going to lose its own viability. Like you're going to still have a good community there to back and still probably use it, but it's like, it'll be interesting to see, are they really trying to take down Showdown by creating their own better platform or not?
I don't know if they're doing that. I really
don't think it has anything to do with Showdown.
I don't think it has anything to do with Showdown. I think it has everything to do with taking the pressure off of the mainline Pokemon games for being like the one-stop shop for battling, right? When they're the current gen. I think that's the biggest thing. I think that's probably where Timergate stems from as well.
Thing that I'm curious about too.
I don't know that they're really trying to compete with Showdown here, but I think they're just trying to find a way that because like honest,
the meta had a problem with Showdown, they would just send the cease and desist.
Yeah, it's harder to for whatever reason, just because it's a beta, and all that.
Yeah, I don't think that's exactly it. I don't think that's exactly it, Jushiro. I think they just don't care, honestly. I don't think they care about Showdown. I don't think they plan on competing in that space. I think what they're trying to do is just make a platform, one where they can just fast return the new Pokemon, even if they're in a game that doesn't have like traditional turn-based battles. I think your mainline Pokemon games will continue to have those traditional battle systems. Like for a playthrough, like I expect Gen 10 to have a battle system very much like Gen 9. Like it's not going to be much different. But what I do expect is that we're going to continue to get Pokemon Legends games, right? We're going to get Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl games, where these games aren't ever the VGC standard game like we have now, where the current gen game is the VGC standard. And they want to make it in such a way that you can take those new Pokemon from the newest game and they're available for battling. And I think this fits in with their new strategy of like Pokemon Home is this hub for all of your Pokemon to sit in. And I think that's kind of where it stands. Now, whether you can train in Pokemon Champions, I don't know. I think they should allow some of that. I don't know that they will, but it's to be seen. I mean, I'm really going to say this is probably more than likely. Like instead of you plugging your cartridge in or hooking up your DS to your Wii, like you did in Pokemon Revolution, this is just you hooking up Pokemon Home to a game, Pokemon Stadium. I think that's what it is. That's my bare bones expectation. I think eventually all of the Pokemon will be available there. Maybe not all of them right away, but I think, within a few years, you'll probably have most, if not all of the Pokemon available.
What I would be very excited for is for all the online events that they do, for them to either create new ones or just move them to Champions.
I think they should. I think they will. The way I see this is it's like Pokemon Live for battling.
Right.
For VGC. Like that's what I see it as. It's Pokemon TCG Live for VGC, which is perfectly reasonable.
I'm just so dumb excited for it.
Okay, so I am stupid excited for it too. Obviously, like I hope there's a spectator mode as well. I forgot to put that in my hopes.
Oh yes.
There better be a spectator mode.
Like you have the Sword and Shield like setup of Stadium. Like bringing that back, honestly, it's going to bring back a lot of the animations because how Gen 9 is with the battling system of like having all the wild battles everywhere. You lost a lot of the animation. You lost a lot of the cool, like some of the cool stuff, like, Behemoth, Bash, and Blade. Like
I really
super explosions. You get some of those back now, which
I truly see this as a successor to Pokemon Battle Revolution. Where we were hoping for cool animations because they could focus on that now, right? So I'm hoping we get some cool stuff here. But yeah, I want to pivot us away from this though and get us to like the good stuff. I want to talk about
because we can talk about ZA. It's an entire episode to talking about champions. It's definitely something that could be done over the next couple of weeks, months.
Yeah, Pokemon Legends ZA, we finally got an update trailer. After a whole year, which is kind of insane. But we got so many cool things out of it. One, we got this cool map for Lumio City that just shows how big it is. We find out how the game's going to work in a single city, which I think is done well, tactfully.
Yep.
Where they went ahead and they showed that in Pokemon Legends ZA, they've set up these areas for wild Pokemon to live. In the first couple of areas that they show, it kind of feels just like it almost feels like a post-apocalyptic world because there's just like cars and stuff
right? It kind
in
of
the middle.
A car just parked there. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm just like, I want to know more about why we're setting this up and why, because we got no plot details in this trailer. Or any information.
By the way, hashing what we already know.
Yeah, we got like no plot. It was weird. But yeah, the map thing, the art is really cool. I really like the art actually. For the map. I want to get that and frame it. Like it looks really good.
We finally got a confirmation of our 3 starters.
We did.
Very important.
To the dismay of the community for some reason. Yeah. So they gave us Chikorita, Tepig, and Totodile, which people are just like 2 Gen 2 starters. That's weird. I'm like, who cares? Like, because I mean, there's so many Pokemon that are like off limits, I think, for this game, right? Gen 1, Gen 6, out. Gen 9, out. So we just wiped out 3 gens of starters right there. Gen 3, in my opinion, out, because they also have Megas. That's 4 gens of starters. We've already wiped out.
And then any of the starters in Legends ZA or Legends
Arceus, so that's another. We've just taken out
3 starters. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've just taken out 18 of the 27 starters right there and then. I am surprised we didn't get like a Gen 4 starter, but we did just recently get a lot of Gen 4 love with like BDSP and Legends Arceus. Yeah. So I'm kind of unsurprised by that. So I like in my tiering, I'm like, okay, Gen 4 can get knocked out a little bit. So we're down to 21. So there's 6 Pokemon left. And then the Gen 5 and they're there's like 2 of the Gen 5, 2 of the Gen 2 and Gen 8. Yeah, exactly.
That's literally it. It is like
that's all we had left. And I was just like, yeah, makes sense. Like
I think they settled on the right ones. The ones that I feel are underappreciated / underloved by the community.
Yeah.
I would say, like, with the exception of Totodile, honestly, like I think
Totodile's mid upper, but still, like, in terms of water has been generally above average. But
yeah,
I'm trying to think.
Okay, that's fair. Like, if the ones that were left, like Gen 7 was still out there, I guess. Like with Poplio and Litten.
Poplio could have been.
I don't think Poplio lends itself to what they really wanted to do with the battle system, though. So I'm going to take a quick aside, and we'll come back to the starters. But I want to take a quick aside to the battle system if it's on this page. But in the battle system,
oh my god.
The battle system in Pokemon Legends ZA is real-time action, which is honestly something that people have been asking for years in Pokemon games. This is something I remember people asking for in like Gen 1, Gen 2, and is constantly like always in the background of the Pokemon community's conversation, has been what do you do with the battle system? We really want a real-time battle system because that's how the anime works, blah, blah, blah. Right. And that's what we get. And it's really cool. This is actually exactly what I expected to see happen, by the way. I mentioned this several times on the podcast leading up to this. I could probably see them doing like a real-time battle system, because that's what Kalos was kind of all about in terms of that. And then even if you watch the original trailer we got last year for Legends ZA, you have a lot of like battles that are kind of dynamic in terms of how the Pokemon are moving. And to me, that telegraphed this. And so it's actually really cool. You get to run around. Different moves have different ranges, different effects. So I don't know how it's going to play. I don't know how well it's going to be, but this is exactly what we were talking about last week, Jushiro, where they just removed the battle system and they put a new one in. Because catching looks very similar as well, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, because the battles, as we see it, you can move around. Each move supposedly has their own range in your ability. You could attempt to try to dodge out of the way. Some successful, some not. I noticed the Onyx, like when it got switched in and tried to avoid like a Pyroar, it like just still got hit by whatever the attack was, but it like tried to move out of the way. And then just like
it's crazy.
I just love the idea
this is gonna be cool.
This like the moves have a charge, like a recharge. There's no PP. It looks like they just have a time to be able to use them again. I'm like, great, that's cool. Can't wait to see how speed factors in.
Reminds me of Final Fantasy 14's combat. I know that's like an MMO, but it reminiscence to that because you choose when you're battling bosses or something, they charge up their attack and then you can. In Final Fantasy, at least, you can see the area of effect, and it gives you time to like run out, right? And I think this is something similar to that without the pinpointing everything all at once.
Yeah, it's just it's just really cool. And I think so the reason I was mostly segueing to this was because I think Poplio doesn't lend itself to this. type of like dynamic battling, and I think the three we got are very good for it.
Hippowdon would have, but you know what? Hippowdon Stealth Rock was freaking amazing.
I think Hippowdon,
that's so cool.
I think Hippowdon does it better than Popplio still, just mostly because Popplio doesn't have legs.
Yeah,
I think that's the big one. It's Popplio. I mean, it would probably scoot around like the Onyx, right? But so I want to go ahead and transition us back to the starters briefly, because I think they're cool and we deserve to discuss them just a little bit more. Mostly Totodile. Wait.
So here's a question about the starters. Are they going to have megas?
So that's what I think.
That's the real question now. Are they going to be the ones with megas, or are they going to be regionals? We don't know.
I don't know. Like the whole like past couple of days, like watching the Pokemon community has made me realize like how one-tracked mind people get about this, right? And because for me, I go, megas are obvious. Megas are the way they're going to do this. We're going to get Mega Meganium, Mega Tepe, or Mega Embor, and Mega Feraligatr. Like, that's probably what's going to happen. But, like, and I'm like, that's unsurprising. That's, like, an unsurprising thought. But most of the community is, like, still on, like, this regional train, right? Where, like, we're going to get Colossian Pokemon. And for something we haven't mentioned, obviously, for somebody who hasn't watched the news, but this doesn't take place in the past like it did in Legends Arceus. Right. This is taking place... This is actually a sequel ish to X and Y.
Yep. It takes place a few years after, based off of the characters, based off of locations that we're seeing and everything. It is just a few years into the future. Because with the urban redevelopment, it could have been a past, but it could have been like, I was thinking more like Victorian era was where you could have like,
that's kind of what I felt.
Started at that. But they went more cyber future, which I'm kind of okay with. I'm not okay with that.
I'm really okay with the way that this is being handled. I'm not upset with it. It's going to be really cool. I do think megas are like pretty obvious to me, at least. Like, I think that's what you do with these guys. They get megas, and because
to me, it's like
I don't think you're going to find
regional starters and mega Colossian starters, like the
potentially
like mega whatchamacallit, mega
Greninja, mega
Greninja, you know, that kind of thing. That's kind of where my brain's been at.
I still think you get both.
I would not be surprised either way.
The reason I'm a little bit more hesitant is only one, I think in general Pokemon wants to move away from regionals. I think long term, like, regional is a really popular concept, but I think it's a pain in the butt for Pokemon to deal with, because they try to, when a Pokemon appears in the game, put every form of that Pokemon in the game as well, even if it's just like it's transferable. Like, if you put Meowth in now, like if you put Meowth in, Meowth is, you have to have a Alolan Meowth, a Alolan Persian, you have to have Galarian Meowth and Berserker. If you just put Meowth in, you have to have 6 Pokemon. Like, that's what you have to have. And I don't think they want to keep doing that long term, which is why they introduced the idea of conversion evolutions in Gen 9, because we got things like Toedscool and Toedscruel, which are effectively regionals. Like, let's be honest, they're effectively regional Pokemon, but they're new deck slots. And if Tentacruel and Tentacool are in a game, we don't have to have Toedscool and Toedscruel. They won't be in the same game necessarily. And vice versa. Exactly. And so I really think they're leaning towards moving to that model, which I think people will still be mostly happy with. They didn't introduce that many in Gen 9.
To have regionals just based on the timeline where this game takes place?
Exactly. Unless, like, I could see an argument where because we have the city locations built in now, that certain Pokemon have adapted more quickly than others or have been influenced by that. But I don't really see it. I think it is possible. I don't think these Pokemon were already in Kalos. Like, all 3 of the starters were already in Kalos, and all of them could already evolve into Meganium, Emboar, and Feraligatr in Kalos. I don't see Pokemon retconning that and giving them regionals. I see Megas. I see Megas coming.
Same here.
I genuinely just see Mega Pokemon, Mega Feraligatr, Mega Emboar, and Mega Chikorita. I think that will probably be what happens. I think we will see. I think you will eventually see like a couple other Megas. I think the Colosseum starters also get Megas. I don't see why not both. Right. For your starter, the way I imagine it is like Zygarde. Like there's some culmination at the climax of the plot with Zygarde, and whatever happens, they end up creating new Mega Stones. And some of the new Mega Stones they make are for your starter. So I kind of see that. So okay, yeah, I don't want to go on my rant of this is what I expect, but
right.
Yeah, this is kind of where I see that going. As a very long answer to Jushiro's question.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so other cool things they revealed outside of just like this, AZ's back and they confirmed he's 9 feet tall.
Yeah.
Which I think
He's looking good. He's all cleaned up.
Yeah, he's cleaned up and he went from King of Kalos to hotel owner.
Yep.
And the Eternal Floette makes an appearance and they like pointed out, I want to know if you guys think we'll get the Eternal Floette finally.
Landlord is pretty much a one way, but sorry.
Oh, do you think we'll finally get the Eternal Floette like as like a reward for something? I think it has to happen, right?
Totally,
like
it
has to happen.
Super post game battle with AZ
exactly
for fun. Yeah,
and we get Eternal Floette. Like Eternal Floette somehow is catchable. It can't evolve into Florges. It's going to be essentially like Blood Moon or Saluna.
Right.
And lock there. I absolutely believe Eternal Floette is a thing that will happen. I think we'll catch it. I think it'll finally be catchable and we'll all get it. They also introduced random characters and didn't explain anything about them. One being Jet, who is the CEO of Quasartico, who is leading the urban development plan in Lumio City, and then also Vinny. We all say that, but I feel like this is the also the conditioning we've received as Pokemon players. Is that corporation person evil? And
I'll say that something that friend of the podcast EV posted. Jet looks like she is Colress, has that same kind of swooping hairstyle. You see,
that's interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah, that I'll drop the image in our chat here, but that I was like, oh, I see it now. That like swoop of the hair. I'm like,
interesting. Interesting. That's a thought. I also am. There's also Vinny, who is her secretary. I love the official description for him, by the way, on the website. It's very nondescript, which makes me think they either just thought this was a cool character design and went with it, or there's just way more there that they don't want to reveal to us. Because literally, let me read you the description from the official website for Vinny. Vinny is a large man who wears sunglasses. He works at Quasartico as Jet's secretary. He always seems busy and has a reputation for being a fast worker. That is like the blandest description of any Pokemon character we have ever received in any game. Like there's either nothing there or there's everything. That is how I feel. I also like that behind the character designs on the website, they actually put the little pentagon. Which was the little symbol for Kalos back in the day.
Kalos, yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Something that doesn't matter to anybody but to us. Do you think that when we catch a Pokemon here, we'll get the little symbol? It'll be the same symbol as the Gen 6 symbol in Pokemon Home?
Yeah. It could be.
It could be
a different version of it.
Yeah.
I just noticed Vinny's bun is a Pangoro and a Baneri on it.
It's a Baneri and a it's a Pancham actually, because it's the leaf, not the full stick. It's a Pancham, but I mean Buneri is going to be in the game because Buneri is Mega Lopunny exists. So for those of you this was a question I had originally, like, are we even going to get like the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire megas? And it does seem to be the case, because when they talk about mega evolution, they did drop us a few Pokemon that mega evolve and like made a note of it. One being Gyarados, another being Charizard. We see that Charizard X and Charizard Y are both present. No Charizard Z yet. Knock on wood. Yeah. And Mega Kangaskhan's making a return, Mega Ampharos, Mega Gardevoir, Mega Lucario, Mega Absol, but they did show off 2 that were Oras Megas, one being Sableye and the other one being Altaria. Yeah. So I was pleasantly surprised to see that they even highlighted that, which makes me go, okay, we're gonna get 48 megas. Like,
yeah, they're definitely trying to push us towards those.
There's probably a chance where we don't get like Mega Rayquaza and we don't get Mega Mewtwo or something. But
Primal Kyogre and such, it's like, yeah, we're probably not getting those guys. But like the base, I would say everything except for the legendaries, for sure.
I think there's a chance that we get pushing. I think there could be a chance where we get Mewtwo kind of in the same way that like there was just randomly Tornadus stuff happening. Tornadus, Landorus, and Thundurus in Legends Arceus. I could see where we could get like some Mewtwo stuff going on. And Mewtwo is catchable, and maybe this would be so weird, but I think it could be possible, like if they want to expand to Quartet again. And I know I made a lot of jokes about Panzap, but like a serious suggestion that I have would be taking the original Legendary Bird Trio, which already kind of had stuff done with it with the Galarian forms, right? But highlighting them again, like the original trilogy or trio. But adding a 4th where we have Articuno, we have Zapdos, we have Moltres. We could get like a Quattro Pokemon. Yeah, I think that would be cool. I don't think it'll happen, but I think it would be cool to see something like that, because if you look at the Japanese names, they don't have that same naming convention.
Right. But that was something
I could. They're also not as restricted. They're not as restricted on that though as they are in other like groups of Pokemon. So I could see them adding on to that and giving us like a 4th legendary bird, right? Like give us grass flying. I don't know, something terrible, maybe. Right? Grass flying.
What were the legendaries from Kalos? Yveltal, Xerneas.
Xerneas and Zygarde. Zygarde's obviously going to be highlighted. Like they actually just like
DNC.
Yeah. Oh, the mythicals are all coming in. The mythicals are all going to be like quote unquote demythicalized, right?
Are they? I think so. This game, I think so.
Oh yeah,
I think they will.
They did it
with Shaman and Darkrai.
Yeah, they did it with Shaman and Darkrai. I think there'll be an optional adventure probably. Much the way Shaman and Darkrai were, where catching them won't complete the dex, but it'll be a mission you get maybe for just like having a Scarlet and Violet save file or something like that. You can go catch them. So.
I think you'll get something like that. I think you'll hit something for the save file bonuses. I think
there's going to be some save file bonus. One of
them, they might give you like Diancie because like they did Manaphy. Where it's like
they'll give us Diancie like Manaphy. Yeah,
but I think they'll give us one of those for free.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it'll be Diancie. Diancie is the clearest one to do that with, and then I think
with
Volcanion
the Mega,
and Hoopa.
you give us Diancie.
Yeah. You give us Diancie. I think that's the big one. They did highlight Zygarde pretty well on the website too, just to like let you know about the Zygarde cells, and they show all the forms. I actually really like the artwork they use for these. These aren't like the traditional Sigamori artworks, but they're in the same poses. But I do like the cell shading and everything they did on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. I'm a big fan.
No, they look nice. Yeah, no, they look really
Yeah,
nice.
they showed us other characters as well, Urbane and Tawny, depending on whether or not you pick the male presenting or the female presenting character. They're going to be your companion / rival. I do like they call them rivals, and like battling's taking more of a presence in this game versus Legends Arceus.
Yeah, because I think that was one flaw of PLA. That's if there is a flaw, it's the battle system where it's a little more complicated and a little or confusing is more of how it is. And it's just very swingy. But this one at least looks like it's going to be different, but in a better way, I think. I'm excited about what it's going to be.
I'm kind of excited based on what they've shown so far that this might be like they might have taken all the criticisms from Pokemon Legends Arceus to heart, and they're doing it with this. I like that they're really kind of making interesting and different Pokemon games. And I'm sure they're happy about it too. I'm sure they're happy that they're not just making, Pokemon Red and Blue 7. So they also showed us the character designs, and boy, do they have drip.
Oh my gosh, they have so much drip.
I'm buying that hat. I'm buying that hat.
Dude, that hat is great.
I'm buying the hat.
I've never wanted a Pokemon trainer hat. You got that Zygarde. You got that Z.
Yeah,
it's like
it's cool.
Looks good. Like,
I assume there's going to be
that green works.
I mean, we'll obviously get trainer customization because it is like Lumiose and like Kalos X and Y, right?
Oh yeah, no. First of all,
we'll obviously get that.
You're in France. You're in that city. It's a heavy fashion, so I expect there are going to be plenty of it.
I expect it as well. So, but we'll see how it goes in the future. I think I've covered most everything I'm excited for. I mean, we talked about the wild areas briefly, but there's not much to say other than like this is how we have wild Pokemon,
right?
In the city, there's going to be these areas.
Yeah. Yeah, but the one thing I did forget that we should talk about very briefly. There's one scene in the trailer where you battle with your Chikorita a Flaffy. And there's two things to pull out of there, and we can all speculate on what they are briefly, but the first one is, and the biggest, is that the Flaffy runs out of HP and then just gets dazed, and then the player chucks a Pokeball at it. Very cool. Something that should have happened a long time ago. I'm surprised it didn't happen in Arceus, honestly. I'm surprised it didn't happen in Arceus, but very cool. Like it. The second thing is that Chikorita had Disarming Voice, which is a fairy type move. And it never got it before, and everybody's kind of speculating, oh man, we're going to get Kaloshian Fairy Grass Meganium.
Or Mega Fairy Grass Meganium.
I think it's going to be Mega Fairy Grass Meganium. Right. I think it's going to be Mega Fairy Grass. I think people thinking that that we're getting regionals are just like, they're on some like hopium. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think we'll get the. I don't think we'll get
for a regional. It's not.
Yeah, it's not for a regional.
It's not
exactly
in the past where it's like, oh, these were extinct by the time they made Thailand. It's not a new continent where you can go. Oh, it's because it's a new continent and they'll exist here. Like we've been to Kalis. This is just a few years after that. There's not enough time for something to have new regionals.
I agree.
Starter sets.
I agree. I mean, you could also. I mean, maybe there's like a thing where like Zygarde takes over or something and it like changes things in the city. I don't know, but I
think
I don't know. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I think regionals can exist. It's going to be like what they did with Gudra or something. It's going to be Pokemon that are not native to there. And so far, we've got 126 confirmed Pokemon that are all in the Kalos deck so far. So
I think it would have to be. I think it would have to be a Pokemon that's not in the Kalos decks or catchable in Kalos. So like, let me pull up like the X and Y on Cerebi. I'm on the website right now. I just have the list of Pokemon you can catch. Pidgeot is there. Mega Pidgeot is happening. They haven't shown it, but Mega Pidgeot's my favorite. So, I love Mega Pidgeot. Yeah. So if we pull up Pokemon X and Y. And we take a look at the unobtainable Pokemon. I think it would have to be an unobtainable Pokemon in X and Y for it to be a Pokemon that can.
All the starter Pokemon, cough.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't agree with them getting. It would have to be a completely different Pokemon. Like you would have to have Kaloshian Chikorita for me to believe you, because Chikorita could already be brought into. Could already be brought into Kalos in Gen 6, and it could already go through its whole evolution cycle. And now if it was Colossean Chikorita evolves into whatever, that's fine. There are some Pokemon that are possible for this, like Porygon, possible maybe. Maybe you can get like a Colossean version of Porygon or something like that. I would say even the same for, I don't know, maybe
Glameow could be interesting.
Yeah, Glameow, maybe even Melodic. Melodic could work. There's not a lot of Pokemon that aren't available in these games, by the way, so it does make it hard. Misdreavus isn't in the game, isn't there? So
yeah, Misdreavus,
Finneon. Most of the Pokemon are in this game at the time. Which
coughing, another Meowth.
Third Meowth. Let's go. Yeah, there's actually not a lot of Pokemon missing, and it's mostly just legendaries from previous games. I'm not gonna lie.
So really, you're gonna look at Gen 7 to Gen 9.
Yeah, it would have to be a Gen 7 to Gen 9 Pokemon. It could be one of those. I do agree with that.
Yeah,
it could be something like that, because honestly, that's what happened with Hisui. Is I think all of the regionals, except for like Voltorb, and I guess if you want to count, Weirdeer and Ursaluna, but outside of those, all of the Pokemon and Cleavor, I guess, but I don't know if I count Cleavor. But all of those Pokemon. Oh, will Cleavor make it in this game? Interesting thought. Food for thought.
That is a good question. Cleavor
because
is a very
Scyther,
good question.
I'm pretty sure Scyther will make it into that game.
Let's go.
Mega Cleavor. I think Cleavor will probably make it in.
Actually be kind of
these games are very good at. These types of games are really good at including all the Pokemon. Like they did that. They went out of their way to include like Weavile and Sneasel, even though they were regionals, and they went out of their way to put in like Scizor, even though they had Cleavor in Pokemon Legends Arceus. So I think these games will go out of their way to make sure that all possible evolutions are available.
Mm-hmm.
So if Scyther does make it, which it probably will because Mega Scizor exists. Also, there's a piece of art. I think it's on. I forgot this Pat Rat picture I had up.
But Pat Rat.
Pat Rat's back.
Here.
Pat Rat's back. He's home. And then even Pokemon knew and made a meme about it. The big thing was for me looking at Z to A was that. Oh my gosh, where was I going with this? Not Pat. I got distracted by Pat Rat. But there's a little icon on the bottom of the map, that image that they have, that's literally just like a scissor head. So Scissor's going to be in this game. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about it. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I wonder if Cleavor will make it. It would be really cool if Cleavor made it. That'd be super cool.
I think it could.
It probably will. I think this is where they go, oh, here's some black Augerite, and they just like hand it to you.
Exactly.
It's gonna be I see the world where that happens. I see the world where this happens.
Mm-hmm.
But all right. I don't have anything else to say. I am sorry that I talked forever on this, but
no. I mean, we only have this one trailer to go by and the information on the website. Obviously, and there's going to be soon more to come. I guess to clean out this section would be the things that didn't happen that we expected, and that is that we had no announcements of Pokemon Gen 10, which we thought maybe
I didn't expect it.
But we also got a semblance that this is going to be the November game.
No, I don't agree with you on that, actually. They did say late 2025. They did say late 2025.
That we know is certain. So what is late?
I still do not agree with it. And I'm going to explain a very convoluted reason why.
Go ahead.
They announced that Megas are coming to the TCG in 2025. And you and I and Shark all know that the release cycle for Pokemon TCG sets in the United States in the West, there is always a set that releases in the first week of November. That is the last set that comes out in the year that will introduce a new thing. Right. And that will be that. So Megas need to come out by the first week of November in the TCG. I do not believe that Megas will hit the TCG before the release of Pokemon Legends ZA.
Okay.
So therefore, it is probably not the November game. I believe it will be at latest in October, and they'll try to line it up with the release date of X and Y. Right. They might try to do that. I still think that's a little late, and I think that September is an option as well. And mostly because I'm thinking they're going to try to do a thing where they miss the Switch 2 release, right? Granted, Pokemon has a history of like ignoring new consoles as well. Like they have a deep history of that. But I do think they try to miss the Switch 2 release a little bit.
Fair enough.
They did see.
I still think that happens because I think the Switch 2 comes out in October or September. Like that's when I think the Switch 2 comes out.
Yeah, I'm like,
and then the Switch, and then the November game is probably like a Switch 2 game, like here's Super Mario for Switch 2 or something.
Okay. Or Mario Kart 9. Which
I think Mario Kart 9 comes out at launch. I think Mario Kart 9's at launch.
Yeah.
That has to be a launch title.
I don't think I agree with you. This is not going to be on the release day of Switch 2. I'm still not putting it past them to put this on Switch 2. I think it could be, it's for sure Switch. I did have to check that. It doesn't actually say it on their website. You have to look at the trailer where it
does say it's for the Switch.
On there.
It's for the Switch.
It could.
They announced that last year on the website. It does also say it on the website. It's for Nintendo Switch.
It does. Okay.
Yeah.
Missed where it says only exclusively on.
It's
Switch
all the way at the top in the corner. It just says Nintendo Switch.
It's all the stupid tiny corner.
Yeah, it's in the top corner. It is there. It is there though.
It could be Switch 2 though. It's not saying it's not on
no,
Switch.
It's not going to be a Switch 2 game. Pokemon?
A Switch 1, Switch 2, like Breath of the Wild?
No. Pokemon has never done that, Shark. Pokemon has never done that. There is zero precedent.
They've never done a starter selection like this before. It doesn't mean it won't change now.
I don't think that's not the same magnitude. It's not the same magnitude of different.
You're right, but
it's not the same magnitude. Like them changing how they present in game, fine. Their business strategy overall, completely different. Pokemon does not like releasing on new consoles within the first year. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Pokemon does not do it.
Putting it past them. We still have.
No, Switch 2 is going to be backwards compatible. So like they're going to be like, yeah, sure, you can play it on Switch 2, but maybe Switch 2 gives you like slight performance improvements or something. But I don't think it's going to be any different. Honestly, no, I'm not going to say Switch 2 is going to give you performance differences because it's not. It just won't. They'll be like the game's just we just put a Switch 1 in our Switch 2 so that you can play backwards compatible games, just like they did with the Wii U.
Right.
The Wii U literally just has a Wii in it. I don't know if people are aware. It just has a Wii in it.
Yeah, like, you had to go to a separate menu to play Wii games.
Yeah, you did. You had to go to a separate menu because it booted into the Wii because there's a Wii in there. There's just a Wii in a Wii in a Switch in a Wii U. It's nuts.
Yeah, I still don't put it past them.
I would if anybody wants to bet me, I will make anybody a friendly wager like of $50 that there will not be that this will not be a Switch 2 specific thing. They will not say anything other than like, hey, you can play Switch 1 games on Switch 2 when it comes to this game. I will bet money on that.
I think they're going to do Breath of the Wild style and give it on both.
I do not think they will. There is no reason for them to do that with a backwards compatible console. With Breath of the Wild, it made sense because you couldn't play a Switch game on the Wii U. And honestly, the only reason they put it on Wii U is because they were so sorry that they kept promising it would come out for years and it never did. It got delayed so much. That's what happened. But yeah. All right. I don't want to go on more about that. This is going to be a circular conversation. But yeah, let us know what you think of these games in the mailbag next week. Let us know what you think of ZA and Pokemon Champions. We would love to hear your thoughts. But yeah, that is going to be it for our topic today. We are going to go ahead and switch gears to Puckle's PokeOpinion. So we're going to kick it on over to that. We'll catch you guys on the flip flop. Welcome to Puckle's PokeOpinion, where we pose a question and we talk about it. I'm going to ask a very basic question today because I think the circumstances require it. Yeah. And we should definitely ask this question. But the question to you is, who is your Legends ZA starter? Why? And why? Who are we choosing and why?
Well, I know what someone is probably going to pick.
Yeah, Jushiro, why are you choosing Tepig?
Whoa. Number one, we weren't talking about me. We're talking about you and Totodile. Number two, how did you know that I was going to say Tepig?
Let's make that clear. I know what you're picking. Yeah,
there's literally in the video
trivia segments that we did an injustice today.
Yeah, in like the stream background right now
for alligator.
on the video podcast, there's literally I just bought it. We talked about it. We literally talked about it on the show last week, and then I went out and bought it. There's this
that
at Target you can buy this sleeping Totodile. And so I went and bought one at Target like immediately after that episode recording.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's actually behind me.
Twitter. I literally saw it on Twitter at first, where it was literally just like someone put it in their Target little hand basket. I just sleeping in there. I thought it was when I first saw it. I'm like, oh, that would be perfect for that.
It's so cool.
Photo.
I did buy it. It's sleeping on the couch behind me. Yeah, so it's there.
Aww.
It's there.
So,
no, it's awesome.
For me, honestly, I've always had a soft spot for Tepig. I know that he was the least loved at that generation, if I'm not mistaken. But I like him.
I
think Tepig is the worst out of Gen 5. Yeah.
I would say so. I think so. I think Snivy has at least a couple defenders.
Right.
At least one that we know.
I defend Snivy too. So, but I think Tepig is the one that it just got the fire. It got the firefighting,
and people
burnout.
hated it for that.
It was just firefighting burnout.
No pun intended. Firefighting part 3, and it's the worst of the 3 firefightings.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It did have its own like exclusive move for a hot minute though. With Heat Crash, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think in this grouping, it's probably an okay like group. All 3 of them. I think all 3 of them are fine together. I think if you have Cyndaquil there, a lot of people just go, "Oh, Cyndaquil's cool," and they pick Cyndaquil.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Followed by Totodile, followed by Chikorita.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now like I don't know. I feel like Tepig. Like somebody's gonna really like Tepig. And they're going to hate me for this, but I feel like Tepig is the Chikorita of its generation. And
the thing, because this is what it is. It's like literally, and this is how I feel right now personally. It's like Totodile is currently the popular favorite. Chikorita is the one that like people are trying to counteract it, or like, the next kind of like it got so much hatred in the past. Let's give it some love now kind of thing. And then Tepig is the one that's kind of left over. And for me, I'm
go ahead, Shark. Go ahead.
Yeah. And for me, I'm going Chikorita to one, not like unknowingly balancing us all out here. But second, I just like, it's cute.
Yeah.
I like the little guy, little bean.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of want to see all of that. I kind of want to pick Chikorita in just to see if they make it better.
Right.
But like at the other hand, like there's Totodile, so my boy's there. I gotta rep the boy, like Totodile all the way. And I really want, like, I want him to. People are like trying to make thematic like mega evolutions for these things, like fit into Kalos, like almost making like regional megas, if that makes sense. In terms of a lot of the designs I'm hearing, with like, oh, he's got to become like a water poison type because he's in the sewers. Something we didn't talk about on the topic was like they did show that you can go to the roof of the buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah, like which is kind of nuts style,
which is kind of cool
across the buildings.
Mm-hmm. And I do think there's a chance that we get something like where you can go into the sewers as well, because that's a big thing in Paris. So they're just like, oh, it would be really cool to see like because crocodiles go in the sewers. That could be a thing. Right, that could be, we could get a water poison for alligator mega. And it's just like, no, I just want like a Mega Feraligatr. Like, I don't want it to be thematic. I just want bigger. Right. I want Feraligatr, but more of it. Okay, like every other Mega, right? Every other Mega is that Pokemon, just like, more. Yeah. I want it
to be almost like Killer Croc-esque, like from like the comic book. You want comic book.
Yeah.
Humanoid,
no, that's what I want. I want
crocodile crazy.
I honestly just wanted to get like Brass Knuckles and be like a water fighting type. Like, that's what I want. I want Mega Feraligatr with Brass Knuckles, and he's just wailing on a guy. Okay.
Exactly.
They probably won't do that since we'll have like firefighting Emboar. And it'll probably Mega Evolve into firefighting Mega Emboar. But
I hope not.
I hope not. Well, I mean, it would be really cool if they did something different, right?
It'd be cool to be different. I'm curious. I'd be surprised either way.
I would love for Mega Emboar to be the second Mega Evolution that loses a type when it Mega Evolves and doesn't gain a new one.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
I would love for it to just be fire type, like just fire type Emboar.
And just look like
Aggron. Just like Aggron. I think it would be really cool to just be like Aggron, where it just becomes fighting type.
Yeah, fighting type would be kind of crazy.
Like, lose the fighting type, become fire. And just that way it kind of mirrors the other Unova starters that don't gain a type when they evolve.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Make monotype cool,
Exactly.
I think that would be a very interesting and thematic evolution for it.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know about Mega Megadium. It's just gonna be fairy grass, like right, that we all agree.
It's probably gonna be fairy grass, especially with that little bit there. Like, I could have seen it have done something else, but the disarming voice kind of makes it interesting because I could see it being cool, like like a pixelate but grass maybe or something like that, just like sound move.
Grass type pixelate.
Or like, exactly. Something like that could be kind of interesting with it. So,
or it's just gonna be pixelate. Like, it's just gonna be.
Yeah,
I could see it just getting that. I could see it doing that. I mean, I don't imagine it much different than like the new Pokemon Snap like version of it. Just bigger Megadium, just like more like every Mega should be just more of that Pokemon. That is what every Mega is. It's just more of that Pokemon.
Megadium.
I mean, it could be fairy, and then they just do dark with Totodile, and it's just like the.
Yeah, that's true.
I can see dark or poison could be kind of interesting.
Well, dark would be cool,
obviously.
But I say dark because it's the rock paper scissors thing, right? Because you have grass, fire, water, then you have fairy, fighting, and dark.
And it would kind of mirror what we got in Gen 6 from the starters originally too, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of for that. I'm not against it. I'm not against it. I could also see like Water Steel or something with the Brass Knuckles. I'm really stuck on this Brass Knuckle idea.
Yeah, you really want the Feraligatr with Brass Knuckles, huh?
That's what he's all about. That's what he's all about.
Like Mega Blastoise with the punch waterfall. Hydro Pump.
I'm all for that too. If that could happen, oh my gosh, we get real life battles. We could do it. He can Mega Punch and then. I want that to happen. That's what I want, guys. We figured it out. All right. Well, if you're not excited for Pokemon Legends ZA or Pokemon Champions, and you don't want to write that in an email this week, you can let us know which starter you would choose from ZA as your other one. And
even
what you
though
think
you're
the
not
Megas
excited, pick
like.
us about a game. Pick your starter from a game.
Talk about the game.
Excited about it, like
exactly. All right. Well, with that, guys, I'm gonna kick us on over to our mailbag. Welcome to our mailbag. The mailbag is the part of the show where you can email us at puclpodcast@gmail.com and let us know what you think about that week's topic. Last week, we asked you guys what you thought might happen on Pokemon Day and what your reactions were to Pokemon Day, which some of you did. There were a lot of emails this week, so thank you, everybody. You can also email us about the PokeOpinion, which only a couple of you did, though one of them was a very funny image that I don't want to show right now. But yes, we're going to go ahead. We're going to jump into these emails. I'm very excited to get into them. But before I forget, this segment is brought to you by the fictional energy drink Green Tauros, the energy drink that gives you hooves. And as always, we'll give the Green Tauros badge to anybody that sparks really good conversation, which is a role on our Discord server that gives you exclusive access to the Green Tauros Club. So with that, let's jump into it. Our first email this week is going to be, I believe, from Cole C. or Coleslaw. And I believe you've got this one, Jushiro.
Yes, I do. Hey, Puckle host, I'm ready and hyped for Pokemon Day this year, and I'm excited for some of the most anticipated releases from the franchise. Without further ado, here are my predictions for this year's Pokemon Day. Puckle Podcast. Puckle Podcast.
Puckle Podcast.
Puckle Puzzle League reboot. Everyone has been wanting another look at their favorite N64 game, haven't they? This new and improved version of the game features updated graphics and now new gameplay content. Exciting! But I know what you all were wondering. Will the game hold up just as well as the original with a whole new generation of Pokemon fans? And my answer is definitely yes. We all know that kids these days want, and that's microtransactions. The Puzzle League revamp will be jam-packed with cosmetics and titles to buy that do nothing to improve the game. Surely a contender of Game of the Year. Due to this unmatched popularity, Pokemon has decided to give Larry his own game. Complete thrilling tasks like juggling multiple jobs and finish your divorce papers. There's even an extra storyline dedicated to the therapy you'll have to take because you're just so dang stressed. But wait, there's more. For a small price of $29.99 US, you can buy the award-winning Pokemon X Phoenix Wright DLC for the same amount of money to buy a single pack of prismatic evolutions. In today's economy, you'll get a thrilling hour of gameplay fighting for Larry to keep custody over his kids. I'm sure
one day we'll all get to open prismatic evolution.
I want that game. I'm not even kidding. I want that game. Let's get serious now. Those last two guesses were a little silly, to say the least. We all know that on Pokemon Day, we'll be getting news on Pokemon Legends CA. It's a bit of a cheap shot, but my final guess is that the one and only Pokemon Pizza. What?
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Oh, it's another joke. Okay. You play as Roy from the anime, who is inexplicably in Kalos now. You work as a delivery boy for the Uncle Pizza Palace, Palkia's Pizzeria. Leaving only a note, your uncle sets off on an adventure, leaving you alone to run the pizza place. Kids will surely have fun working for minimum wage in a poor environment for days on end.
This game already exists.
There you have it. My predictions for Pokemon Day 2025. No matter what is released, I'm still happy with the current state of the franchise. As somewhat newer fan who only jumped into X and Y era, I've loved being part of the ever-growing community. Thank you all for making the community better. This has been Cole or Coleslaw on Discord. That will be C-Olslaw. Yeah. And I'll see you all next week.
Well, thank you for that. Coleslaw. All right. Our next email is going to be from Nico. So I believe, right. Shark, you've got this one.
I do. Drink that Shuckle brew, Puckle crew. Nico here, writing this on Pokemon Day. I'm going to write this in two parts. First, my wishes for the Pokemon Presents. And then I'll finish the email after the show with some reactions. Part 2 will probably be long, so let's get right to the wish list. And let's see how close he was. And
yeah, right.
Pokemon Legends ZA. I hope to see a lot. Number 1, gameplay that shows abilities and multi-target attacks.
Nope.
We did not get that, actually.
Nope.
Abilities is that's a good question. We'll see.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if abilities made it or not.
I don't know. And it could go both ways, but
I don't know if you need them. I don't think you need them in ZA.
I don't think you need them, but it's like maybe you have something, but I'd be curious. But I mean, things like Flash Fire, I don't know, work with this style, but we'll see. Mm-hmm. We'll see. But historical Lumios. Another.
Yeah, right.
Foreman Diantha in steel-toed boots.
Nope.
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 That's 0 for 3. Starters other than the X and Y starters. Ding, ding, ding. I really want
happened.
Chikorita.
Wow.
Slam dunk.
Good call.
You got that one.
Yep.
And then redacted favorite Pokemon. He has he'll talk about it later, but they got some miss on that one. So outside of that, it would be nice to see anything stop motion, Concierge or the Aardman Project.
There you
ding,
go.
ding, ding. We get a little bit of we get the Concierge.
Yeah.
Something by Namco Bandai.
Nope.
Return of Pokemon shirts by a company that still exists. RIP Original Stitch.
Nope.
No merch at all, really.
Yeah.
And then the announcement of Gen 10 only if it has 2026 attached to it. I'd rather see nothing if it's earlier. So
it's nothing.
And
It's nothing.
It's a nothing, and we're definitely not getting it in this year because of of late
2025. I thought they were still not going to do it anyway, no matter what it came out this year. So
that's it. Now let's see the direct and find out how wrong I was. Mostly wrong, but you got something pretty right. So, first, this wasn't on my list, but anyone who listened to my previous emails can collaborate. I predicted everything about Pokemon Champions. An ICLA made Battle Sim available on mobile. Totally called it. Just for context, Pokemon Works, who's making Champions, is just ILCA rebranded.
I don't think he can claim wanting it because we've claimed we wanted it for like the past like 5 years.
Yeah.
I will give you
he
a
might have had some things right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean you did say it on the Discord. I will say you said it on the Discord. I just didn't believe that they would ever give it to us.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't. It was something that I wanted, and I've been burned too many times. Somebody can go, "Who hurt you, Thatch?" And the answer is the Pokemon Company International.
All right, now to the list. I'm a little sad that PZLA is in modern times. Ancestors and extinct Pokemon were very fun concepts that I hoped would carry on through every Legends game. Which I could understand that, but I'm kind of okay with it being modern.
Me
just
too.
to spice it up. Let's see what they're capable of.
I really like Legends just kind of being whatever they want it to be. And because I think if they would have done another like pass-based game, they've put themselves in a corner. And I think by not doing that, they're no longer in that corner.
Yep. Exactly. They changed their starter concept. They've changed, the setting. I think it's good. It keeps them doing anything goes to tell the stories of these legends. Getting Chikorita back is a real win for me. I have ideas of what the final evolution / mega evolution could be, but I'll say that for a later email. Let's just say with all Gen 2 Pokemon represented in the franchise, I think we can expect the next Legends is going to be Johto.
Maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know how I feel about that.
That's a future topic. What's going to come first, Johto or
I don't know.
Unova? With Kyurem.
Man, I genuinely think what will probably happen next. This one's a little weird because I kind of thought Legends games would kind of always be paired with like a remake or something similar. Yeah, but obviously it's not happening with this one. And to be fair, it isn't like the whole region, so I guess it makes more sense to do that. But if we do another whole region-wide Legends, I think you have to. I think still pairing it was a good idea with BDSP. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got like a remake. I mean, both of those games could come out with remakes, honestly, and it would be very reasonable to see like a Heart Gold Soul Silver remake. It would be very. I think saying that would be a very reasonable. Like what I genuinely believe is all the DS games should get like BDSP style remakes. And then like Gens 1 through 3 get, just straight like ports.
Right.
Like that's the way I think it should happen.
I would go two ways. Either Wild West, give me cowboy Pokemon.
That would be. The problem is it's New York City.
But Unova is a region, or is it Unova just New York?
New York, Unova is based on New York.
Just New York? Oh, okay.
Yeah, just New York. The Wild West portion you're asking for already did kind of have cowboys, and it was the Ore region from Pokemon Coliseum.
Yeah, that one is the one I would say, because that one I think is based Alpha Arizona. So I think that could be fun.
It's actually more than Arizona, because actually like the village where you go purify things, I think it's Agate Village. Is actually Agate Village is actually like the Pacific Northwest. So it's the whole like West Coast area.
Yeah.
Okay. Or
Arizona
would be the other thing. Just give me dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, Tyrantrums, Rome. Jurassic Park Pokemon. Here we go.
Yep. Back to the email. I'm glad Gen 10 wasn't announced. I remember in 2022 saying, I hope Gen 9 wouldn't be announced because they can't possibly be ready this year. And you know what? I was right. When SFE released, it was undercooked. So
absolutely was.
I agree.
It absolutely was.
Give it a little more time, and I think Gen 10 will be great.
This is completely like their timeline right now is completely reactionary to like their to like the feedback they got from Scarlet Violet. Like they put out a statement like, "Oh, we're a little disappointed with how this came out." Like they don't usually do that.
And finally, my favorite Pokemon that I can't mention because of my New Year's resolution. It wasn't there. As a Callus mascot, its absence was unusual. I'll worry it will be ruined with the regional variant, but time will tell. I think if it is from Callus, I don't think it's going to get any super treatment beyond Mega. I really don't think anything from Callus.
I don't think Greninja will get anything but a Mega.
Yep, but it's Mega is going to be an Ash Greninja-like type of thing.
It'll be Ash Greninja-like, if not Ash Greninja.
Exactly. Ash Greninja's not Mega Greninja.
I genuinely believe Ash Greninja will just become Mega Greninja. I genuinely believe that. I
could really see that.
They already have the design, and they're not just going to like put that in the toilet, you know?
Right.
I think they might just reuse it.
They legitimately brought it back, or like let you transfer it in. But,
Yep.
But yeah. But that's all I have for now. Hope y'all have a great week. Nico.
Well, thank you, Nico. All right. Our last email today is going to be actually 2 emails from Unovian. Unovian went ahead and sent us one email before before they decided to have the game come out, or before the game came out. And I want to make sure that we also do that. So, all right. It looks like I missed the second part of that email. So let me do that real quick before we begin, and we will get started. The ending of part 1. All right, here we go. Hello, Puckle crew. Trader Unovian here, excited as always for the Pokemon Presents. I have thoughts before the Presents happens and after it happens, so I figure why not provide both and laugh at how right or wrong I was, or how my opinion changes before and after the big announcements. Before the announcement, Wednesday night. We're setting the scene. Certain Pokemon Presents can change the nature of what makes them exciting. In 2022, Pokemon Presents was exciting because we were going to find out how Game Freak could possibly top Legends Arceus. And we weren't certain if we'd get a new generation so soon, which we did. This year, it's exciting for a different reason. We know Pokemon Legends ZA is coming, but after 1 year of near silence and no announcements, this long wait is exactly what will make any news that come tomorrow all the more exciting. There's even the open-endedness of what the game is even all about. We still don't know.
Nope.
How different is the gameplay from Legends Arceus? A little bit, not much. One in the Pokemon timeline. Will this Lumio story city happen? Are we going to get basically Assassin's Creed Unity with Pokemon? Kind of. All this will make for lots of anticipation about something that we know will happen and have near zero idea of how. I've been seeing people anticipating Pokemon Black and White remakes as well, but I don't think it'll happen, let alone should happen. And I'm saying this as a diehard Unova fan who began with Pokemon White. Why? Because Unova already got a homage to Black and White in the Blueberry Academy. The school being set in Unova, all the references to Unova in music and lore, new NPCs connected to Unova NPCs that we already know, and all this made me so happy as a Unova fan while playing through the Indigo Disc DLC. And I think the DLC was deliberately made this way as an alternative to making straight-up Unova remakes. Besides, how could you even do Unova justice with the remake? If they want to do it justice, they need to figure out how to integrate both Black and White 1 and 2 in one game. In my personal opinion, they'd also have to pay homage to the really unique UI, art style, and general vibe of the Unova games as masterfully and artfully as the originals. And I don't want Game Freak to do justice, especially after BDSP. BDSP was not that bad. This is Thatch talking. Okay? BDSP was not that bad. Everybody's so mad at BDSP. It was exactly what it needed to be. I am so sorry. No. I will not take this because we're all biased. Everybody in this room right now is biased because we all played Diamond and Pearl when it released.
Yeah.
BDSP came out 15 years after those games came out. There are kids that could have been born and were ready to drive that had never touched those games. BDSP was perfectly reasonable if you had never experienced Sinnoh before. It was a perfectly reasonable game. I justify the same thing for a Black and White remake. They would be perfectly fine, perfectly serviceable, and they would bring those games to modern hardware.
Two counterpoints. One, it should have had, if not exactly, it should have had some of the platinum improvements upon it.
It had the platinum Pokemon in the underground, and nobody recognizes that whenever they complain about the platinum Pokemon not being available. They were actually very available to everybody.
There's a lot of post game and a lot of things that they didn't include, and the storyline is better. With it,
the storyline's the same. You just go to the distortion world at the end instead. That's the only difference.
And you have better battles, better teams.
I would argue that BDSP made the gym battles harder. BDSP made the gym battles harder than both those games, both Platinum and Diamond and Pearl.
That's fair, but you could have had better. You could have at least had Volkner have a mono electric team instead of his Octillery and his.
No, it's better this way. It's better this way. I like the not mono.
You can't argue when the game had all those really crazy game glitches launch.
Well, that's because they literally ported the game and slapped a new paint on it. They literally slapped a new coat of paint on the old code.
When you actually have a glitched category in a Pokemon game, for speedrun wise,
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
They hadn't had it since Gen 4 last time. That's the last time they had it.
Perfect. Wow, they recreated the Gen 4 experience. I will not change my mind on this. You will not be able to change my mind.
You did not have BDSP swimming through darkness and magically ending up in the post game. You do not have that.
This is a perfectly reasonable game. I think nothing is wrong with this game. I think nothing is wrong with BDSP, with the exception of maybe they should have put in, changed the wild encounter tables to those of Platinum. That is the only thing I could argue. It would make the game better.
Should have had a cleaner, polished game at launch. But again, that's the same complaint we have in Scarlet and Violet. So both the same.
You can't poop on BDSP then. Perfectly reasonable as a remake. I think the community is overreacting to BDSP. All right, moving on. I might be a biased Unova purist, but I think it's best for that generation for Game Freak to leave as is, untouched as possible. They will when they make a true remake or whatever they called it the last time, faithful remake. I can see that it would be nice to at least have a port of the games to the Switch. In which case, I'd rather just see remasters of both Black and White 1 and 2. That is what BDSP was. It was just okay. I'm going to lose my mind. But if Game Freak needs to remake a game, I'd rather they skip Unova and remake X and Y. After all, BDSP was created to give context for Legends Arceus. It was more of like a failsafe because they didn't know if Legends Arceus was going to flop or not. Then why not do the same and create X and Y remakes to enhance the Pokemon Legends ZA experience? To keep this mailbag short, I'm sending the before and after as separate emails. Basically 2 emails and 1 message would get lengthy. Please feel free to pick one and to read on the show or read them both to compare my thoughts. Thanks for making my Monday mornings nerdy and awesome. Cheers, Unovian. We're going to move on to the after now.
Dun, dun,
Hello,
dun.
Puckle crew. Trainer Unovian here. Excited as always for Pokemon Presents. I have thoughts for before the presents happen and after it happens. So I figured why not provide both? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, I copied the same email twice. That's what happened. Here we go. Hello, Puckle crew, and here goes part 2 of my thoughts surrounding the Pokemon Day Direct, hopefully in not too late for the reading. Well, I have many thoughts, but let's share the most overarching ones. On Pokemon Champions, I have to confess, I listened to you guys complain about not having a battle hub and simulator connected to home for years. And until now, when Pokemon Champions was announced, I actually found these complaints really, really annoying. I felt like Pokemon didn't need and should not have an external battle sim because I felt like Pokemon handing official competitive formats so far where Dexit and generational changes curate the official format to work around specific Pokemon and specific gimmicks every generation is what made competitive Pokemon, or at least VGC formats, what they were. You can still do that, by the way, like with Champions. And I think they will. Putting all of them into one battle sim would put a wrench into the idea that the current Pokemon games is where the current competitive scene should be. Playing through the story and raising Pokemon on cart can't be removed from the experience of getting ready to competitively battle. The status quo just felt right, and I didn't think Pokemon would have a central battle hub like Champions, and it would be pointless to hope for one. I did think it was pointless to hope for one. And here I am speaking as a fan who only watches but doesn't play competitive Pokemon. Of course, I've been humbled since then, and even if it isn't something I'm personally interested in, as I'm more of a lorehead fan, I'm just as happy for those who can benefit from battling whatever format, wherever, and expanding the possibilities of battle on an official platform. And I'm certainly happy for Wolfglick 2, the world champ difference, did the most work convincing me that the Battle Hub might be good for Pokemon anyhow. You can still do the thing that you suggested where like they curate the teams and the mechanics, because all you do is you say, oh, hey, you can only use Pokemon Dex numbers from this to this, or you can only use Pokemon that are found in the Gen 10 national deck or the Gen 10 regional decks. And we've banned these gimmicks. We can only use the Gen 10 gimmick.
Exactly.
I think that's perfectly fine. I think it's exactly what they'll do. It does give me less hope that Gen 10 will have Mega Evolutions in it, though. Because I think they'll just be like, oh, you can Mega Evolve in ZA. Now you can Mega Evolve in the competitive battles here.
You can Mega Evolve in Champions.
Yeah, you can Mega Evolve in Champions. So, like, who cares? Which I'm not super mad about either, to be fair. So
I think it'd be fine to like low roll it, like wait a couple years, come bring it back again, and then start Mega Evolving all like the Gen 7 to 9 Pokemon or the Gen 10 Pokemon now get Megas. Like, which ones do they feel like need it? You know, it gives them a chance, honestly, slow rolling it. It gives them a chance to like figure out who actually needs the buff. You know, like game balancing, things that you can do in Champions very well that you couldn't do necessarily.
Following up on Legends ZA. So after the Direct, how different is the gameplay from Arceus? Pretty similar. When does it take place to a lot of people and my surprise and humility in the near future after X and Y? Is it like Assassin's Creed? Well, there's at least that rooftop part. That's true.
It is true. You hop across buildings.
Yeah. I admit I was disappointed at first when it wasn't going to be an industrial era Lumio City after all, and that all the new lore we'd get compared to what we actually got, which in being set in modern day feels really boring by comparison. I kind of see it, but we'll probably get a lore dump like with Zygarde and AZ. I think we're going to learn more about AZ, honestly, through this way than we would see in like the past. I think because AZ's gone for like 3,000 years anyway, so we wouldn't get any AZ lore if there was in the past. So I'm very happy to see this. All right, where was I? I'm curious what they'll do with a more settled premise. It might be interesting to see how Lumio City has changed after X and Y and see characters like AZ return and continue their stories. Reminds me a lot of Black and White 2 and what it did to expand on Unova's story. This is essentially Black and White 2. There's still no telling what the story has in store, and worst case scenario, it's just boring. But I'm hopeful, and by focusing on a more grounded and subtle premise, ZA might provide an unexpectedly rich Pokemon experience. They have a very good track record. I would say Scarlet and Violet, very good story. In general, I think Game Freak is really trying to establish that the Legend series is a series without patterns. I agree with this. A tough pill to swallow for a fan base that loves patterns. I agree 1000%.
Yes.
As distraught as I am that there are randomly 2 Johto starters, or Game Freak didn't go all in with go with an all French or all underappreciated theme for the starters, I'm glad they're throwing curveballs to keep their fan base on their toes and their own development team's possibilities and experiments open. Looking forward to experiencing the rest of the ZA news cycle and more fun Puckle episodes to come. Cheers, Unovian. Well, thank you for that. Oh, man. Yeah, so thank you, everybody who sent an email in. I kind of like Unovian as the Green Tours bench winner, mostly because I got to yell about BDSP, but...
It's either that or I would say Nico, because we spend a lot of time yelling about Legend Johto.
Yeah.
Either one worked for me.
Both get it. Done. Both get it. If you want to email us next week, let us know what your thoughts about Pokemon Champions and Pokemon ZA are, or let us know what starter you'd pick from Legend ZA, puclpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to keep up with us throughout the week, the best way to do so is come to our Discord at pucklediscord.com. Additionally, you can follow us over on our social medias at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and what's the other one? Blue Sky. You can also go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/PucklePodcast, where a video version of this podcast exists. If you're not already watching us there. Hi, if you are. And then, of course, you can always watch us stream. I stream every Wednesday over at Twitch at twitch.tv/ThePucklePodcast, as well as YouTube. Not to mention, Claude will be streaming there this Tuesday as well. He's going to try to complete the Puckle Badge Bonanza. And with that, guys, the other thing is, if you want to help support the show, you can go over to Patreon at patreon.com/PucklePodcast. This month, I am going to try to put out either an exclusive interview. I've been talking to, nobody knows who this is, but I'm going to reference it. I've been talking about doing an episode of the show with KC from WTPT, the Palette Tribune. None of you know what this is because you can't find it anymore, but this was the original Pokemon podcast. And I've been trying to get him on the show, and he's very excited to try to do it. So I'm going to try to get him on this month, and then maybe do a little interview with him afterwards. Additionally, you could also, over at the Patreon, that'll be available at the $10 tier. Additionally, I'm going to try to do a game corner this month to try out Video Game Corner and see how it goes. Mm-hmm. So with that, though, guys, that is everything. Of course, if you want to help buy cardboard, like I do, I buy a lot of cardboard, a lot of Pokemon cards. You can go over to Trollandtoad at trollandtoad.com and use code PucklePod5 at checkout for a 5% discount. So with that, guys, I have been Trainer Thatch.
I've been Sharkfinnagen. Some say I'm Jushiro.
And here in the Lavender Town Radio Tower, it's closing time.
Flip side.